Chapter 1279. Yushu thought that no one else was going to bid for 800,000, but her plan was ruined by Uncle Chu. She couldn't ask Xiao Xiao to send him a message, could she? Plus, Uncle Chu had already bid, so there was no point in hinting anymore. Jiang Wen hadn't made a bid yet. 1 million. Just when Yushu thought that it was over, Jiang Wen jumped up and bid again. Yushu was very happy. Wow, there's still a strong bidder. 1 million. Yao Yao's first kiss is already worth 1 million. Are there any higher bids? I don't think so, right? 1 million going once, 1 million going twice, 1 million going thrice. Sold. Congratulations, Jiang Wen, for getting Yao Yao's first kiss. Yushu couldn't wait any longer, as if she wanted to sell Mingyao's first kiss to Jiang Wen. Seeing how much Yushu wanted him to get Mingyao's first kiss, Jiang Wen was overjoyed. Even Mingyao's best friend was helping him. He had a 90% chance of getting the miss this time. It seemed that Yushu had thought it through and wanted to push Mengyao to him. Waha! Jiang Wen was so happy. He could feel that Yushu was helping him. Even Peng Zhan hadn't been able to make a bid before Yushu made the final call. Thank you for your support, everyone. Jiang Wen stood up. He couldn't wait any longer. Other auctioneers would just swipe their cards and transfer the money, and get the item on the spot. Jiang Wen, on the other hand, naturally wanted to get Mingyao's first kiss right now. Now, let's welcome Jiang Wen to the stage to receive the item. Yushu replaced Tang Yun and Meng Yao as the host. Meng Yao, on the other hand, didn't know what to do. What was this Shu trying to do? Was she crazy? She wanted her to kiss Jiang Wen. Why didn't she just kill her? Meng Yao was anxious, but she couldn't get angry. She just frowned and didn't know what to do. Jiang Wen, on the other hand, couldn't wait any longer as he walked up the stage. Jiang Wen, please swipe your card first. Yushu handed the POS machine to Jiang Wen and said seriously. Okay. I'll do it now. Jiang Wen smiled happily as he took out his bank card and swiped 1 million over, whispering, Thank you, Shu sis. Don't worry, if I manage to get Yao Yao, you'll get a lot of benefits. Thank you for your generosity, Jiang Wen classmate. Yushu, on the other hand, ignored Jiang Wen. Now, let's welcome Jiang Wen to receive the auction items. Now. Can we do it now? Jiang Wen was very excited, salivating as he looked at Mingyao's cold face. Of course. Yushu said. Yao Yao's first kiss is already yours. Waha, I won't hold back then. With that, Jiang Wen started walking towards Meng Yao. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. Did Shu lose her mind? How could he do such a thing? Kissing Jiang Wen. Jiang Wen. Where did you go? Over here, Xiao Xiao's classmate will give you the item. Yushu grabbed Jiang Wen and pulled him back. Xiao Xiao. Isn't it Meng Yao? Jiang Wen paused. Why would he want Xiao Xiao's first kiss? Xiao Xiao was pretty, but spending 1 million to buy a kiss from someone like her. Wasn't he an idiot? Here it is. Xiao Xiao took out a water sculpture from a box and held it in her hands. Jiang Wen classmate, this is for you, this is Mingyao's first kiss. Wow. Jiang Wen paused. What first kiss is this? This is the first kiss. Look. Xiao Xiao held up the sculpture. This is a sculpture made from Mingyao's kiss mark, this is Mingyao's first kiss. The sculpture in Xiao Xiao's hands looked like the hand marks of celebrities, except that this was a kiss mark made into the crystal. It was a souvenir. This is the first kiss. Jiang Wen looked at the sculpture in Xiao Xiao's hands and almost cried. 1 million for a piece of broken glass. Was there a mistake? This was the first kiss. Was this a scam? Yeah, isn't it written here? Mingyao's first kiss. Yushu said, pointing at the sculpture in Xiao Zhao's hands. The crowd burst into laughter. All the students could see that Jiang Wen had been scammed. She was playing a word game, saying that this was Mingyao's first kiss, but she didn't say that Mengyao was the one who kissed him. That's... Jiang Wen's face was very ugly. He didn't think that Yushu would come up with something like this. He finally understood that he'd been played by Yushu again. Jiang Wen wanted to curse. He'd spent so much money to buy a piece of trash like this. Mengyao finally understood why Yushu was auctioning off her kiss. It was all for Jiang Wen's sake. Even Mengyao didn't remember this sculpture, but she seemed to have made it with Yushu in a shop back in middle school. She'd never looked at it again after that. She didn't know how Yushu found it, but she took it out and sold it for $1 million. With that thought, Mengyao couldn't help but laugh. It seemed that she'd worried for nothing. Shu was really evil, tricking Jiang Wen like this. $1 million gone just like that. But, while this sculpture was her own kiss mark, Mengyao didn't really want to give it to Jiang Wen. This was her real kiss mark, after all. What if Jiang Wen took it and did something disgusting to her? But in comparison, this was a result that Mengyao could accept. If she was that worried, then Jiang Wen might take her picture and do something disgusting to her. Jiang Wen couldn't do anything, he'd been scammed, but he'd bought it willingly, and he couldn't get mad on the stage. If he did, wouldn't he look petty? Mingyao's impression of him would be even worse. And so, Jiang Wen could only accept his fate. He walked over with an ugly smile on his face, taking the sculpture from Xiao Zhao's hands. But, as soon as he touched it, it felt slippery, and with a whoosh, it fell off the stage, shattering into pieces. Chapter 1280. Fuck. It was only then that Jiang Wen realized that the sculpture was covered in a slippery substance, and his hands were still feeling sticky and slippery. Jiang Wen was about to explode. What the hell was this? Sorry, I spilled some lubricant on it, so it's a bit slippery. It's just that you broke it, it has nothing to do with me. Xiao Xiao said with an evil smile on her face. Jiang Wen's eyes widened as he clutched his chest. He was pissed to death. Lubricant. How could there be lubricant on the sculpture? This Xiao Xiao must have done it on purpose. Fuck. This girl was as bad as Yushu. He was screwed. Jiang Wen had been comforting himself with the fact that he bought a sculpture for $1 million, so be it. It was a broken piece of glass, but it was still Mingyao's kiss mark. He couldn't use it, but he could still go home and fantasize about it. However, this time, it was great. It was directly smashed into pieces. There was not even a single thought left. It directly turned into a large pile of glass shards. Wow, Jiang Wen classmate, you're so generous. $1 million for a sound. Yushu said as she looked at Jiang Wen with admiration. Jiang Wen wanted to curse, but he knew that he was on a stage, and Mengyao was watching. If he was too stingy, Mengyao would hate him even more. He had no choice but to cry and laugh. It's okay, haha. With that, Jiang Wen didn't have the face to stay on the stage anymore. He got off the stage and walked back to his seat with his head lowered. The audience didn't know that there was lubricant on the sculpture. They thought that Jiang Wen was angry that he bought $1 million for a broken piece of glass, and so he smashed it. He didn't want to smash it, so he pretended that he accidentally dropped it on the ground and broke it. Mengyao let out a breath of relief. Even she started to pity Jiang Wen. This poor guy, meeting Yushu and Xiao Xiao was just his bad luck. These two girls were really ruthless, too. Not only did they scam him of $1 million, they even went as far as to smash the sculpture. Mengyao, naturally, didn't believe that the lubricant was accidentally spilled on the sculpture. Xiao Xiao probably did it on purpose. Why didn't she warn Jiang Wen first? Something like this could have been avoided with just a reminder, so he must have purposely made Jiang Wen fall on the ground. Meng Yao didn't have to worry about Jiang Wen doing anything bad with the crystal statue, though. This made her feel much better. Xiao Xiao and Yushu, on the other hand, looked at each other, seeing the evil smirk in each other's eyes. Lin Yi didn't know what to say as he looked at Jiang Wen's sad face. But Yushu and Xiao Xiao, these two girls were really something. Jiang Wen had no choice but to swallow his grievances. The fundraiser came to an end after Jiang Wen's high price. The total amount was close to 2 million, and to the orphanage, it was a drop in the bucket. But that was all they could do, at least lessening the pressure on the orphanage. Lin Yi could have told Ling Shan not to be so strict on the theft, but Lin Yi didn't do that. Ling Shan had her own principles, and Lin Yi didn't want her to change anything. After all, what Xiaoko was doing wasn't right. She could only continue to live in the dark and rely on herself. But, even if it was 2 million, Xiaoko was already very happy. At the very least, this 2 million was enough to last him for a period of time if he continued to live such a simple and hard life. After getting kicked by Lin Yi, Yufeng rushed to his apartment in Songshan and called his father, Shuixing. He couldn't hold it in anymore, he had to teach Lin Yi a lesson. Phone. Why are you calling me now? Aren't you in school? Shuixing picked up the phone, confused. Dad, I got kicked by Lin Yi today, and I can't hold it in anymore. I'm going to kill him. Yufeng screamed as soon as he picked up the phone. Oh. Shuixing paused. You got kicked by Lin Yi. What happened? It's like this. Yufeng told his father what happened today. I just casually cursed at his girlfriend, and he suddenly came on stage and kicked me off. Don't you think that's too much? With Lin Yi's protective personality, it's not strange. But, it's been so long, and you still don't know Lin Yi's background, and you don't know what level Lin Yi's strength is at, either. I'm worried that you'll get into trouble if you act rashly. Shuixing was a rather calm person, and he looked at the situation more holistically. Yufeng, the noble house meeting is starting soon, and it's best not to cause trouble now. House Xiao is so powerful, and the Xiao family has the hidden house Pai's help as well. Why aren't they causing trouble for Lin Yi? There's probably more to this than meets the eye. But I can't accept this. I've lost all my face today, and if I don't get it back, I won't be able to stay in school anymore. Yufeng said, unwilling to give up. That's something that can't be done. You have to learn to endure in order to achieve greatness. Shuixing sighed. House Yu used to be the strongest house in the world, but now that they have the support of House Pai, the Xiao family isn't much weaker than us, and the hidden House Xiao is even stronger than us. If they don't make a move, why should we be the ones to do it? If we don't handle this right, and there really is some sort of master behind Lin Yi, then it'd be a disaster for House Yu. Annihilation. It can't be that serious, right? Don't we have the support of the hidden House Yu behind us? Yufeng jumped, calming down quite a bit. Chapter 1281. SSS. Yufeng sucked in a cold breath. So you're saying that Lin Yi's background might be really strong? Yes, that's why I didn't let you do anything rash. I've been talking to your brother these past few days, and I know these secrets. I didn't have time to remind you. Shuixing said. Thank goodness you didn't act rashly. Man. So you're just going to give up like this? Yufeng wasn't too happy, but after hearing his father's words, he felt that things were getting serious. He was arrogant, but he wasn't an idiot. He knew that his father wouldn't lie to him. How about this, don't look into Lin Yi's background for now. Focus on getting close to Ling Shan, and I'll announce this decision during the Noble House meeting. It'll increase House Yu's power and influence in the Noble House meeting. Shuixing sighed. Now that family Shao has House Pai's support, they're threatening our position. If we let family Shao grow, then we might not be able to control the Noble House meeting and the ranking. So, let's put Lin Yi's matter aside for now. Alright, but Ling Shan doesn't seem to like me, she's a little cold. Yu Feng said, a little troubled. Then I won't go to school, I don't have the face to go there anymore. Alright, you don't have to go to school for now. We'll wait until the Noble House meeting is over and we confirm the position of the new generation of House Yu, then we'll go all out to deal with Lin Yi. It'll be easier that way, let him have his fun for a few days. Yu Feng really wanted to cause trouble for Lin Yi, but Shuixing was stopping him. He could only give up on that thought, but he couldn't let it out. It was just that he was pissed off that he couldn't vent it out. Time flew by, and Xiao Zhao's illness acted up again. Although it happened right in front of Lin Yi had to use half of his blood to wake her up. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Yi was a practitioner, he probably wouldn't have been able to hold on. Just as old Lin had said, Xiao Zhao's condition was getting worse and worse. Each time it happened, it was more severe than the last, and the cold energy in her body was getting more and more overbearing. A little bit of blood was enough to suppress it, but now it took more than half of his blood to be effective. This made Lin Yi's heart sink. If this continued, it would probably be all of his blood next time. Although Lin Yi had the art of dragon mastery to heal, Lin Yi didn't know if his blood would always be effective. Now, he had developed a resistance to the cold yin qi. This time, it was very obvious. But, in order to reassure Xiao Xiao, Lin Yi still had a smile on his face when Xiao Xiao woke up, as if nothing had happened. I'm alive again. Xiao Xiao opened her eyes and looked at the nervous Lin Yi, Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yun. Tang Yun had rushed to the villa as soon as she received Xiao Zhao's message, waiting for her to wake up. With me by your side, of course you'll come back to life. Lin Yi smiled. I told you, I won't let you die. Lin Yi felt like he was going against his will when he said that, but he had no other choice. He could only comfort Xiao Xiao like this. After all, it was more important for her to be in a good mood. I thought I wouldn't be able to come back to life this time. Xiao Xiao seemed to be quite open about it. I got my life back, thank you, Lin Yi honey. What are you thanking me for? Isn't it my duty to save you? Lin Yi smiled. Alright, let's get some rest, it's getting late. Tang Yun, why don't you sleep here tonight? There's a guest room upstairs. Lin Yi was very weak right now. He had half of his blood left, but he was holding on. He couldn't wait to enter the jade space to heal. Okay. Tang Yun could see Lin Yi's tiredness and nodded. Today was Friday, and there was no school tomorrow. The day after tomorrow was Shirhan's concert, so it wasn't a bad idea for Tang Yun to stay here. But would Meng Yao be willing? Then let's sleep together. My bed upstairs is very spacious. Yun, it's not like we've never slept together before. You're not shy, are you? Meng Yao smiled. Of course not. Tang Yun shook her head. The four of them were very familiar with each other now, so there was no need to be shy. Tang Yun was tired as well. It was best to rest as soon as possible. Lin Yi didn't care about them. He returned to his room, exhausted, and channeled the art of dragon mastery to sleep. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was fine now. She sat up from the sofa. She seemed to be in a good state, but she wasn't in a good mood. What's wrong? Xiao Xiao. You don't look too happy. Tang Yun noticed that something was wrong with Xiao Xiao. Man. Xiao Xiao sighed. Yun sis, my body. I know. This time, I thought I wouldn't be able to live anymore, but honey pulled me back from the gates of hell. But next time, it won't be so simple. I don't know how long I can live with you guys. Don't talk nonsense. Didn't say that he has a way to cure you? Why are you thinking so much? Tang Yun didn't say anything on the surface, but her heart ached for no reason. She saw how had healed Xiao Xiao today. Xiao Xiao fainted in the living room, so didn't carry her back to the room. He quickly cut his wrist and used his blood to heal her. Tang Yun, the miss, and Shu saw how much blood used. They saw the worry on Lin Yi's face as well. Lin Yi didn't say much, but anyone who wasn't stupid would know how heavy Lin Yi's heart was. Next time, it wouldn't be this easy. Even if he drained all of Lin Yi's blood dry, he might not be able to wake Xiao Xiao up. Yeah, didn't you say that you'd live with us forever and go to university together? Meng Yao had accepted Xiao Xiao as well. At first it was sympathy, but then it was friendship, and after living together, they became best friends who could talk about anything. Her relationship with Xiao Xiao wasn't much worse than Xiao Xiao and Tang Yun's relationship. The miss didn't want Xiao Xiao to die, but there were some things that she couldn't change. Chapter 1282. Alright, we'll be the troublemaker duo, sweeping through the universe. Ha! Xiao Xiao started laughing, but after that, she felt a bit sad. Actually, you guys don't need to try and convince me. You know what my body is like. Yun sis, I'm actually going to die, right? Look at how you're all centered around me, you even gave me Lin hubby because I'm going to die, right? Of course not, didn't we agree on this? It's just a bet. Tang Yun shook her head. Alright, I've thought it through. If I die, then so be it. If there's a next life, then we'll be sisters again. If there isn't, then I'll be in heaven waiting for you guys to come and accompany me. It's nothing. Xiao Xiao smiled. Actually, it's been more than 10 years, and I knew that this day would come. I'm already very happy and satisfied. Alright, let's go to sleep then. At least we're happy now. Meng Yao nodded. Xiao Xiao was covered in Lin Yi's blood, and some of it had dried up. It was very uncomfortable, so she needed a hot bath first. I'll go shower. You guys? Xiao Xiao asked. We'll wait a bit, you shower first. Meng Yao knew that Xiao Xiao wasn't feeling well, so she didn't hesitate to let Xiao Xiao take the bath. I'll shower with Xiao Xiao, Yushu said, wanting to join in. The bathroom was big, and it was more than enough for the two of them. Xiao Xiao didn't reject. She was quite familiar with Yushu now, and it wasn't a big deal to be naked with her. Xiao Xiao turned on the hot water and entered the bathroom first. Yushu said that she was going to get some body wash, and that she'd be back in a bit. Xiao Xiao didn't mind. But, just as Xiao Xiao was taking off her clothes and enjoying herself in the bathtub, Yushu came running in with a camera, excited. Xiao Xiao, come. I'll take a picture of you. Xiao Xiao jumped in fright. She didn't expect Yushu to run in with a camera. Then, wouldn't he have been recorded completely? Xiao Xiao couldn't help but get pissed at how excited Yushu was. She subconsciously jumped up and tried to grab the camera from Yushu's hand. However, when she stood up, she suddenly realized that she was completely exposed in front of the camera. But now, Yushu had bought all of them. Wow, Xiao Xiao, you have a great figure too. Yushu dodged as she slapped away. Hurry up and set it up. I was going to use it for Shield Bro's memories after you're dead. You should cooperate so that you can live forever in Shield Bro's heart. Since Xiao Xiao had seen through life and death, she naturally didn't mind Yushu joking around a bit. But Yushu's actions made her really shy, even though she already agreed with what Yushu said. He had to admit that Yushu was right. What if Lin Yi missed him after he died? He could look at his own video and reminisce about it, but this video of him not wearing clothes was a little embarrassing. Xiao Xiao didn't mind letting Lin Yi see it, but she was a little embarrassed. Plus, she was afraid that Yushu would turn around and give the video to Lin Yi. She'd be too ashamed to face anyone if that happened. If she were to wait until she was dead, then so be it. She wouldn't know anything once she was dead, so there was no need to worry. And so, Xiao Xiao thought of a good idea. She was going to drag Yushu down with her. Let's do it. How do you want to do it? Xiao Xiao didn't resist anymore, ready to cooperate with Yushu. Yushu paused. She didn't expect Xiao Xiao to think it through so quickly. But Yushu didn't think too much about it. As far as she was concerned, Xiao Xiao wanted to leave something behind in front of Lin Yi, and so she let her guard down. She let Xiao Xiao do all sorts of seductive poses, and Xiao Xiao played along. And so, Yushu's guard was at its lowest. What she didn't expect was for Xiao Xiao to suddenly grab the camera from Yushu's hand and point it at Yushu herself. Wahahaha, stupid Shu, you fell for it. It's my turn now. Lin Yi honey saw me, and he saw you. Here, pose. Your boobs are so big. Xiao Xiao stepped to the side after taking the camera, so that Yushu wouldn't take it away again. Yushu didn't expect Xiao Xiao to be so cooperative before, but with Xiao Xiao's personality, it wasn't hard to understand why she would do that. Xiao Xiao could do what she could do, too. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Shield bro's already seen me a couple of times, it's nothing. Yushu decided to be generous and let Xiao Xiao take the video, thinking that she'd have to wait for Lin Yi to see this video. Yushu considered herself as the second wife, but the two didn't have a real relationship yet. She didn't feel like it was a good idea to just show Lin Yi a video. But, since she was so happy today, it didn't matter if she took a video. And so, at first, it was just one person, but then it was two people. Finally, it was two people working together to film the Miss and Tang Yun, and so, the Miss and Tang Yun were in for a bad time. The video in the DV couldn't be shown to Lin Yi at all, it had just become a joke between the sisters. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't expect Yushu and Xiao Xiao to make such a big commotion. After returning to his room, Lin Yi entered the training space immediately, absorbing the energy in the jade space like crazy. I'm afraid this will be the last time, Zhao Yazi said coldly as he looked at Lin Yi. What last time? Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. He understood, but he didn't want to understand. The last time we'll use this method to save her. Zhao Yazi said flatly. I don't believe you don't understand. I understand. But, why? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. So this was what Zhao Yazi was talking about. Lin Yi didn't want to accept this, but there was nothing he could do. Chapter 1283. You're giving me a hard time. Lin Yi looked at Zhao Lao helplessly. Can't you let me dream a little? Why did you have to say it out loud? I'm saying it out loud so you can prepare yourself and adjust your mentality. As a practitioner, your heart is already in a mess. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but if you're not in a good mood, it will definitely affect your training speed. This isn't what I want to see, Zhao Yazi said. Alright, since you can see through it, is there any other way? Lin Yi asked. If my real body was here, there shouldn't be a problem, but there's no other way. I'm just a shadow, or rather, a strand of soul. I can only exist in the jade pendant. There's no other way. Zhao Lao shook his head. Zhao Yazi's words made Lin Yi fall into deep thought. Lin Yi didn't want to accept this result, but there was nothing he could do. Forget it, let's just go with the flow. Lin Yi sighed. House Kong had recently bought a large amount of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine, but the situation they expected didn't happen. From their perspective, no matter how much raw materials they squeezed out, it wouldn't be able to withstand such a huge amount of consumption. However, Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine was starting to be sold on a large scale nationwide, and the supply seemed to be very abundant. Moreover, according to House Kang's investigation, Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was building a factory with great fanfare. Building a factory. What did this mean? It meant that the raw materials were very abundant, but the size of the factory limited the production capacity. This result made the people of the Kong family extremely shocked. What's going on? Can someone tell us? Where did they get the raw materials? Dr. Kong was furious when he heard the news. Didn't they say that they were losing money? Which family would lose money like this? Building a factory to increase production capacity just to lose money. This. Dad, don't get angry first. This matter needs to be investigated further. They might not be building a factory to produce injury medicine. Maybe they have a new product they want to sell. Kong Guifeng hesitated and stood out. The idea of buying a large amount of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine was brought up by Kong Guifeng and Zhao Long. Now that there was a problem, he naturally had to explain himself. Let's not care about their factory first. What I want to ask is, where did they get the raw materials? House Kong has used up almost all of our liquid funds in order to buy Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine. We've filled up the warehouse. Even when our Kong family was in its heyday, our warehouse was never so full. What did they use to produce the injury medicine? We've never produced this much, even during the harvest years. Miracle Dr. Kong was about to explode. He suddenly slapped the table and roared, "These are only the ones bought by our Kong family, and there are already so many of them. What about the others in the market? What's the market? They're buying more than us. They have everything. Even if we buy more, they still have more." Dr. Kong accidentally went to House Kang's warehouse today and found that it was filled with Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. That was when he felt that something was wrong. How many raw materials did they need to produce this? So he immediately called for Kong Guifeng, who was in charge of purchasing materials. Kong Guifeng was shocked when he saw the amount of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine in the warehouse. Wasn't this too much? He only ordered his subordinates to buy as much medicine as they could get, but he didn't check how much he got himself. Plus, it had only been a few days. Kong Guifeng thought that they couldn't get that much even if they bought more. But looking at it today, it seemed like there was a problem. They bought too much, and it didn't seem to affect the market at all. Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine was sold as usual, and there was never a situation where there was a shortage. This. Isn't nephew Xiaoming in charge of the other party's supply channel? Kong Guifeng wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. It seemed like his father was really angry. But Kong Guifeng didn't expect the situation in the warehouse to be so full. So, without a choice, Kong Guifeng could only push the blame to his nephew Kong Mingming. Kong Mingming was in charge of finding out the other party's supply channel. He didn't get the information, so what did it have to do with him? He had only made a wrong judgment when he had no information. Kong Mingming was looking at the joke coldly. He didn't agree to buying a large amount of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine, but no one listened. Now that they were in trouble, he was very happy. But he didn't expect his uncle to be so shameless and push the blame to him. "Uncle, you can't say that. Back then, I was against your way of doing things. I already said that the other party might have changed the formula and removed a few expensive herbs. That's why the cost was reduced and the output was increased. But you didn't believe me. Now you're pushing the blame to me. Isn't that a bit wrong? Kong Ming Ming jumped out and retorted. This. Kong Gui Feng suddenly remembered that Kong Ming Ming did object to it before. He didn't think much of it, but now that Kong Ming Ming reminded him, he remembered that Kong Ming Ming did say those words. No. He predicted it again. Xiao Ming. You seem to be able to predict things like a god recently. You seem to have predicted it a few times. Zhao Long said faintly as he looked at Kong Ming Ming. Zhao Long sounded like he was praising Kong Ming Ming, but anyone could tell that he was suspecting that Kong Ming Ming was colluding with outsiders to frame House Kong. Enough. Dr. Kong looked at Kong Gui Feng and Zhao Long, who were trying to push the blame away. He slammed the table and scolded, "Shut up. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Zhao Ming did say that before, but that was to remind us, out of good intentions. I'm the one who's lost my mind and listened to you two trash. No matter how much of a spoiled brat Zhao Ming is, he wouldn't collude with outsiders to frame House Kong. House Kong is his house, and when he becomes the head of the house, all these things will be his. What is he framing?" Chapter 1284. Yes, Xiaoming's right. The most important thing right now is to solve the problem. You two pieces of trash, look at Xiaoming. This is what it means to care about House Kong, and you too. Pushing the blame away when something happens, isn't House Kong still your House Kong? Dr. Kong scolded. Zhao Long and Kong Gui Feng were troubled. What was wrong with this Kong Ming Ming? His luck was surprisingly good these days, but he couldn't say these words out loud. Grandpa, uncle and brother are actually worried, but we're just a little flustered. Kong Ming Ming didn't wait for Dr. Kong to ask and started talking. I think that we, House Kong, need to take some measures to minimize our losses from this mistake. First of all, we have to stop buying the injury medicine from Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. I suggest that we bring the injury medicine to our lab for testing and comparison. We might not be able to analyze the formula, but we can see if there are any of the precious herbs in Miracle Dr. Kang's golden creation. I think this shouldn't be a problem for you, right? Kong Xiaoming spoke leisurely. What he said was what he said last time, but this time, it was more professional and strict. This was something Kong Xiaoming had prepared beforehand. Although Kong Xiaoming didn't foresee that his big brother would be at a disadvantage, he was unwilling to accept it last time. He had been praying for his big brother's plan to fail, so he made some preparations beforehand. He didn't think that it would come in handy now. Yes. Xiaoming is right. Zhao Long, bring some of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine for analysis and see if there are any precious herbs in it. This is very important. If there aren't any, we'll be screwed. Miracle Dr. Kong knew that something wasn't right. Then we'll have to sell our stock as soon as possible. Yes, Grandpa. Zhao Long had no choice. Kong Ming Ming was in the limelight now, but he still nodded with a dark expression. It wasn't an easy task to analyze the ingredients of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. With the current science and technology, it was not easy to analyze the formula. If it was so easy, then there would be no such thing as a secret formula in the world. Those outstanding food ingredients would also be analyzed by others, not to mention those finished pills. Back then, the Kong family had expended so much effort to analyze the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but they hadn't been able to figure it out. In the end, they had come up with a dog-*T conclusion, so one could see how difficult it was to analyze the formula. However, it was much easier to test whether there were a few known components in a certain drug. As long as they analyzed the characteristics of those components, they would be able to determine it. As a result, the test report of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine was sent back to House Kong as fast as possible. Looking at the series of red crosses on the report, Dr. Kong almost fainted. The red crosses meant that the ingredients weren't present, which meant that there wasn't a single rare ingredient in Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. No wonder the medicine was so cheap, there weren't any of those rare ingredients. Naturally, the cost would be lower. No, there's none. Dr. Kong threw the report at Kong Guifeng's face. You unfilial son, take a good look at yourself. You're a grown man, and your brain isn't as good as Xiaoming's. You should have gone to the lab a long time ago, but now you've got a whole warehouse full of trash. You've taken up so much of House Kang's liquidity, what should we do? Father, please don't be angry, I didn't think of this, did I? Plus, Xiaoming was the one who gave me Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. You saw it too, it's exactly the same as ours. Who would have thought that they would cut corners? Kong Guifeng frowned. You can't blame me for this, can you? Kong Guifeng didn't finish his sentence, but anyone could understand what he was implying. The only person to blame was Kong Mingming, who told him to bring back a fake prescription. Fuck your mother. Dr. Kong heard his eldest son's words and finally exploded. He jumped up and slapped Kong Guifeng's face. You're blaming others for your own mistakes. Xiaoming did bring back the prescription, but Xiaoming said that Guan Shuamin might have cut corners and changed the prescription. Why didn't you hear that? Do you have a choice? Kong Guifeng was slapped and immediately became quiet. He covered his swollen face, depressed. I'm sorry, father. Grandpa, since it's already happened, let's think of a way to solve it. Although father and I are both at fault, we're doing this for House Kong. We want to deal a blow to Miracle Dr. Guan. Xiaolong quickly tried to smooth things over. Then tell me, what should we do? Dr. Kong nodded and asked. First, we should get rid of the stock in the warehouse as soon as possible. These things have an expiration date, and if they expire, we'll lose a lot of money. Xiaolong said, if it comes down to it, we'll have to lose some money and get rid of them. Since they cut corners on the medicine, the effects won't be as good as before. If there's a negative reaction in the market and we don't get rid of them in time, we'll lose money. That's the only way. Miracle Dr. Kong sighed. House Kang's recent financial situation can't take much more. House Kang's main business has been attacked by Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company, and it's not what it used to be. House Xiao broke off the engagement with us. It's one wrong step, and every step is wrong. Not to mention becoming a noble house, it'll be hard for us to maintain our previous glory. Grandpa, we shouldn't give up. We should take the initiative. Since we know that Miracle Dr. Guan cut corners on the raw materials, we can make a statement and attack them for their shoddy business practices. We'll tarnish their reputation. Xiaolong suggested, unwilling to admit defeat. He wanted to change his image in front of his grandpa. One had to know that he was the third-generation head of House Kong. But now, it had become Kong Xiaoming out of nowhere. He couldn't accept it. Chapter 1285. What? What's wrong with that? Xiaolong froze. What makes you think that their injury medicine is the same as our golden creation? Are you going to tell the media that you asked Xiaoming to bribe the vice president of Miracle Dr. Guan's company to get the formula? If that's the case, then the reputation of our Dr. Kang's medical group will be ruined. Dr. Kong humphed coldly. Also, if you list out those precious herbs, our Dr. Kang's golden creation formula will be in danger of being leaked. You have to know that the uniqueness of our formula lies in those precious herbs. If someone else learns about it and tries to figure it out, there might be a Miracle Dr. Li or Miracle Dr. Wang appearing tomorrow. Isn't that just asking for trouble? Grandpa, I'm sorry, I didn't think it through. Xiaolong lowered his head, admitting his wrongdoing. He was too eager to turn things around, and he didn't think before he spoke. Xiaoming, what do you think? I didn't think that the person I looked down on the most in the whole House Kong is the smartest one now. Miracle Dr. Kong was very satisfied with Kong Xiaoming, especially since he'd performed so many miraculous feats. Miracle Dr. Kong valued him even more. Grandpa, I think we should do something else while we're dealing with the injury medicine. We can't just sit here and wait for death. Kong Ming said. The meeting of the noble houses is about to start. We have to do something, or we won't have a chance this time. That's right, we can't just sit here and wait for death. We have to take the initiative. This is what the descendants of House Kong should do. Dr. Kong nodded. Tell me your opinion. First, we're too weak. We should get a noble house to help us. The best one to help us is actually the Shao family. After all, our two houses have an engagement. Compared to other noble houses, it's easier to get in touch with them. Kong Ming analyzed proudly. Actually, everyone understood his analysis. It was just that they felt that there was no hope. However, Kong Ming didn't care so much. He only wanted to improve his image and the right to speak. So, no matter how feasible this matter was, he would bring it up first. Well, that makes sense. Dr. Kong nodded. Zhao Long couldn't take it any longer. Makes sense. What bullsh *t logic. He knew that his grandpa liked Kong Ming now, so whatever he said, his grandpa would agree. Zhao Long calmed down and stood up to refute. Grandpa, Xiao Ming, although the Shao family used to have a good relationship with us, but now... The last time we went to visit the Shao family didn't even acknowledge us. Do you think the Shao family would still like us? What Zhao Long said is indeed a problem. Xiao Ming, what do you think? Dr. Kong didn't have much ability or brains. He was just an illiterate who didn't even graduate from primary school. It was only by chance that he obtained the formula of golden creation that he was able to establish House Kong. In fact, he didn't have any ability at all. He didn't even have basic medical knowledge, let alone managing a family. But because of the powerful golden creation formula, other families came to suck up to them, so it wasn't a big deal for House Kong to be a little mediocre. But things were different now. Miracle Dr. Kang's pretense of being mysterious and unfathomable didn't work anymore. He'd trained himself to think and do things like a leader, but his foundation was too weak. He'd be the first one to panic when something happened to House Kong. This is related to the second thing I wanted to say. You guys have to let me finish. Kong Ming rolled his eyes. He actually connected the first and second things together. He was very proud of himself. He was a genius to be able to connect these two things together. Oh. Then hurry up and tell me, what is the second thing? Dr. Kong didn't suspect anything. The second thing is that I need to find the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing as soon as possible. As long as our Kong family has the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, we will be able to create the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. To our Kong family, it will be a huge boon. The Shao family knows that we can create the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. They will probably take the initiative to mend their relationship with us. If we have the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, the other families will definitely come to us for help. Wouldn't it be a piece of cake for us to become an aristocratic family? Kong Ming said in one breath. After he finished speaking, he was a little impressed with himself. He was too amazing, too awesome, to be able to speak so fluently. He was a genius. Good idea. Good idea. Our Kong family has Xiaoming. The heavens are truly blessing us. Dr. Kong slapped the table and laughed heartily. Grandpa, but Xiaoming has the formula as well. This way, we won't be the only ones with the formula, and we won't have an obvious advantage. Zhao Long, on the other hand, was singing a different tune. He knew that Xiao Ming was bullshitting, and everyone knew that, but Xiao Ming just had to link it all together. He couldn't help but be impressed that his brother had such an unreasonable brain. That's not it. Kong Ming Ming said. It said that the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is made from some rare herbs, and the production of these herbs is limited every year. It's very rare, so it's a matter of competition. Whoever can get their hands on these rare herbs first will have the advantage. I think that with our relationship with the pharmacists, even if we can't get all of these rare herbs, we'll be able to get a portion of them. Even if we only get a portion, we'll have a say in the matter. After all, the production of these herbs is low, and there's only a small amount every year. The rarer something is, the greater its value. We'll still have an advantage then. That's right. Xiaolong, look at your brother. When it comes to academics, he's not as good as you, but he's very good at scheming. You have to be impressed. But a scholar can't be the head of a house, after all. The head of the house needs to have brains. I think Xiaoming's idea is very doable. Let's do it. Dr. Kong said happily. Yes, Grandpa. Kong Ming Ming agreed happily. Chapter 1286. But even if it was a chain reaction, finding the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was something Xiaolong didn't think was possible. But Kong Ming Ming just had to pull it out like it was easy. Xiaolong wasn't willing to accept this, he was the head of the house. The words his grandfather said to him before the Yanjing auction were still ringing in his ears, but now the head of the house was his own brother, Kong Ming Ming. He wasn't willing, he really wasn't. Since Xiaoming's so confident, and he was the one who came up with this idea, then I'll leave the search for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing to Xiaoming. Xiaolong smiled, looking at Xiaoming as if he had faith in him. Xiaoming, the hope of House Kang's rise rests on you. That. Of course, no problem. Kong Ming Ming had no choice but to agree. Even if Xiaolong didn't say anything, he'd be the one doing all this anymore, there was no way he'd change the person, so he might as well agree first. He'd achieved his goal of beating down Xiaolong. Good, I'm happy that Xiaoming is so responsible. Dr. Kong nodded, happy. Since that's the case, then it's settled. Gui Feng, you go get in touch with the Xiao family, and Xiao Ming, you go find the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Xiaolong, hurry up and think of a way to sell the miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine in the warehouse. House Kang's funds are being used up too much. Even if we get the recipe, we'll need a lot of money to develop it. Yes. Everyone agreed at the same time. Cuepu, on the other hand, had nothing else to do. He'd already been like this for the rest of his life, there was no need to show anything else. His son, Kong Ming Ming, had been chosen by Dr. Kong to be the next head of House Kong. Cuepu could continue being a spoiled brat because of his son's status. The leisurely days flew by quickly, and these days, the villa was filled with the sounds of Xiao Xiao, the Miss, and Shu's laughter. In the blink of an eye, it was the day of Su Shihan's concert. Miss, Shu, Yun Yun, and Xiao Xiao had been waiting for this day for a long time. Su Shihan could be said to be the idol of many young people. Boys liked her, girls liked her too. It wasn't just because Su Shihan was beautiful, her voice was sweet, and her voice was pleasant to the ears. It was also because of her purity. Ever since her debut, there had been no scandals, and there had never been any negative photos or videos. In this era, Su Shihan was indeed an anomaly. But Su Shihan, who didn't take off her clothes, was more popular than those who took off their clothes. This meant that most people still liked pure celebrities. Han, what do you think? If you really can't do it, just announce the cancellation of the concert. Wang Sis looked at Su Shihan with concern. It's okay, Sister Wang. I just need to rest for a while. The fans are already here, and some of them came from other places. If the concert is cancelled, they'll be really sad. Su Shirhan shook her head and smiled bitterly. It's okay, I'll grit my teeth and get through it. And then don't force yourself. If you really can't handle it, just stop it. I'll find an excuse to change clothes or a stage malfunction to stall for some time. Wang Sis said. Do you understand, Han? I understand. Don't worry, Wang Sis, I'm not a kid anymore. Su Shirhan smiled. Wang Sis, Su Jianong is here. At this time, the bodyguard Feng Sanhuang pushed the door open and reported. He wants to see Miss Su. Oh. What's he here for? Wang Sis paused. All right, I'll go see him. In fact, Wang Sis still had a sliver of hope. She hoped that Qibing would change his mind and not make those unreasonable requests. He would just accept some money and help Su Shirhan cure her illness. Otherwise, with Qibing's conditions, Su Shirhan wouldn't agree to it. Qibing would lose both his money and himself. In fact, Qibing didn't think that he would lose both his money and himself. He sent Su Jianong here to threaten Su Shirhan. He was getting impatient. He had waited for so long and Su Shirhan still hadn't come for treatment. This made Qibing's heart itch. Such a beauty, he couldn't hold her in his arms. Qibing didn't want to give up. So he sent Su Jianong here to ask Su Shirhan if she wanted to cure her illness or not. If she didn't want to, there wouldn't be a chance in the future. Mr. Su, why are you here at this time? Wang Sis came to the guest room and saw Su Jianong. Although she was still holding a grudge against Qibing's words, she didn't seem to have any inappropriate behavior. Manager Wang, I don't need to tell you why I'm here. You should know. Su Jianong smiled and didn't beat around the bush. He went straight to the point. Master Bing asked me to ask Miss Su something. Are you going to cure her illness or not? You have to know that Master Bing's patience is limited. Mr. Su, of course we want to cure her, but Master Bing's conditions, we can't do that. If you need money, just tell us. Even if we have to sell everything we have, we will still come up with the money. But if young Master Zhao still asks for those unrealistic conditions, then we can only regret it. Wang Sis said. Manager Wang, do you mean Miss Su's will? In other words, there's no room for discussion. Su Jianong's face darkened. No room for discussion. Wang Sis said firmly. My will is Miss Su's will. If that's the case, then I'll go back and report. But Master Bing also said that if Miss Su doesn't agree, then there's no room for discussion in the future. You guys have no room for discussion, and we have no room for discussion. Su Jianong said faintly. Manager Wang, good luck. I won't see you out. Wang Sis was infuriated as well. This Xiao Qibing was really a pervert. He didn't want to earn money and instead wanted to get intimate with her. But Xiao Han wasn't an ordinary celebrity, she wouldn't agree to his unreasonable request. There was basically no room for negotiation. So Wang Sis didn't mind offending Su Jianong. After sending Su Jianong away, Wang Sis couldn't help but sigh. It seemed that her request for medical treatment was a complete failure. If Xiao Han was an ordinary person, or if her looks weren't so outstanding, then perhaps she could just spend some money, but... Chapter 1287. As Su Shirhan's bodyguard, Feng Sanhuang always had this kind of expression on his face, but it was also because of this that Su Shirhan and Wang Sis didn't put up their guard against him at all. He wasn't like other men who would show an expression of infatuation towards Su Shirhan. Of course, they didn't know that Feng Sanhuang was actually a spy. They were all deceived by Feng Sanhuang's calm appearance. Sister Wang, you're back. Shirhan saw that Wang Sis had returned and nodded to her. In fact, Shirhan had never thought that Qibing would change his mind. Shirhan had seen too many of these kinds of people. They were lustful and wouldn't stop until they got what they wanted. However, there were many young masters who inexplicably disappeared after coming to find them. They were either under the control of their families or mysteriously vanished from the face of the earth. Although Shirhan didn't believe that it was a coincidence, there were no clues at all. Su Shirhan even wondered if it was God's blessing for her tragic life. Su Jiaonan came and said the same thing as before. He asked if you would agree to Zhao Qibing's request and I rejected him right away. Wang Sis said to Su Shirhan, Xiao Han, this time, Wang Sis made a mistake. I asked you to treat him, but it caused some trouble. Sister Wang, don't say that. You did it for my own good. How can I blame you for this? Su Shirhan quickly waved her hand and said, Wang Sis, it's fine, I've been sick for so many years, I've endured it, it's fine. Yeah, our Xiao Han is strong enough. Sister Wang laughed. On one side, Shirhan was getting ready to go on stage. On the other side, tens of thousands of spectators had already flooded into Songshan's cultural stadium. With Pingzhan's position in Songshan, getting a few front-row VIP tickets was a piece of cake. The 5 of them sat in the front row of the stadium. Other than Lin Yi, the 4 girls were very excited, especially Tang Yun. She never thought that she would have the luxury of attending a concert. And it was a front-row VIP ticket. Although she didn't use her own money to buy the tickets, Tang Yun was still very happy. However, she didn't show it. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was screaming excitedly with Yushu, Su Shirhan. Shirhan. Su Shirhan. Meng Yao and Tang Yun looked at each other helplessly. They were fans, but they weren't crazy. They were quiet people, unlike Xiao Xiao and Yushu, who would cheer with the crowd. Only Lin Yi was dozing off on the VIP seats as if nothing had happened. Sleeping at Su Shirhan's concert, Lin Yi was probably the only one. Although the concert hadn't started yet, which fan wasn't waiting excitedly? How could he fall asleep? Lin Yi was actually training. Ever since he heard what Zhao Yazi said, Lin Yi knew that Xiao Xiao didn't have long to live, and so he started training day and night, closing his eyes and entering the jade space whenever he had the chance. Because Lin Yi knew that some things could only be resolved after possessing absolute strength. Therefore, what Lin Yi wanted to do the most right now was to level up. Shield bro, why did you fall asleep? Yushu looked at Lin Yi strangely. Shu, don't disturb him, he's training. Meng Yao knew Lin Yi. There was one time when Lin Yi was watching TV with his eyes closed. Meng Yao had asked Lin Yi about it, so without a doubt, Lin Yi was still training. Meng Yao could more or less guess what Lin Yi was thinking, too. He wanted to get as strong as he could so he could heal Xiao Xiao. Oh. Yushu nodded and didn't disturb Lin Yi anymore. They were watching a concert now, so it didn't matter to her whether or not Lin Yi watched it. Lin Yi indeed wasn't that interested in Su Shirhan. He had enough beauties in his house, and Lin Yi couldn't possibly be interested in a so-called celebrity. Wasn't it just a little girl who could sing and dance? The Miss, Shu, Yun Yun, and Xiao Xiao all knew these things. Lin Yi didn't need to look at others. After a while of waiting, the stadium's lights dimmed, and the music stopped abruptly. Su Shirhan was going on stage. At this moment, the audience in the arena cheered excitedly at this moment. Su Shirhan, Su Shirhan, Su Shirhan. Everyone was screaming, waving their light sticks, spoons, and laser sticks in the air. Yushu and Xiao Xiao stood up like the other fans, moving their bodies to the rhythm of the song. Lin Yi frowned and covered his ears with his hands. The noise was too annoying. The stage suddenly lit up, and all sorts of colored lights shot towards the stage. A huge beam of light shot towards the stage as well, and the mechanism on the stage activated, and a stage slowly rose up from below. This was pretty much the procedure for all the celebrities. The stage of the stadium was circular, and the celebrities could only come out from below the stage. They couldn't go through the audience. Wah! The fans cheered again when they saw Su Shirhan in her pink youth outfit. "Hello, my fans, I am Su Shirhan." Su Shirhan politely and humbly greeted everyone. "Thank you all for coming to Songsan Culture Stadium to attend my live concert. For this, I express my deepest gratitude." Lin Yi opened his eyes and looked at the girl on the stage. Her body and face were flawless, but who knew if those words were true or not? Was she thanking the fans for coming here and giving her money? In short, Lin Yi wasn't very interested in her. After a few glances, he closed his eyes again. As for Lin Yi's actions, the Miss, Shu, Yun Yun, and Xiao Xiao all felt helpless and thankful at the same time. Lin Yi was such a waste of a ticket. But, he wasn't a pervert. How could he close his eyes and continue training after seeing such a beautiful girl? It seemed like Su Shirhan's position in Lin Yi's heart was far lower than Xiao Xiao's. In fact, it was true. Lin Yi didn't care about Su Shirhan's life or death. If Su Shirhan and Xiao Xiao were to be naked in front of Lin Yi would look at Xiao Xiao first. But, Lin Yi had to admit that Su Shirhan's voice was very sweet, and her voice was like the sound of nature. And, with Lin Yi's sharp eyes, he could tell that Su Shirhan was singing for real, not lip-syncing. Chapter 1288. The only thing Lin Yi wanted to thank Su Shirhan for was that she brought laughter to Xiao Xiao. Looking at the excited Xiao Xiao, Lin Yi felt that it was a good decision for Su Shirhan to hold a concert in Songsan at this time. If there was a chance in the future, he would thank Su Shirhan in person. Soon, the concert reached its climax. Under Su Shirhan's lead, the entire audience went wild. Everyone stood up and sang and danced along with Su Shirhan's voice. Even the Miss and Tang Yun were affected by the atmosphere. They stood up and danced along with the music. One had to say, if Lin Yi didn't have super strong willpower, he would have been affected by everyone. Of course, Lin Yi's willpower wasn't something a normal person could achieve. So, Lin Yi sat in his seat and didn't move. Lin Yi only opened his eyes to look at Su Shirhan before closing his eyes again and moving his body. At the front of the VIP seats, a middle-aged man sat. These VIP seats were usually not sold to the public. They were used internally. These good seats were given to people with connections and people close to Su Shirhan. But, there weren't many middle-aged people who came to watch Su Shirhan's performance. Other than the parents who brought their children, this middle-aged man was the only one. The middle-aged man's clothes were simple and low profile. But people who knew what he was wearing would be shocked. His clothes were ordinary, but the material was top-notch. Beside him, there was a man in his 30s. The man's eyes were bright, and he was dressed in black like a bodyguard. Evidently, he was the middle-aged man's bodyguard. "Feng Er, don't you think that I'm a useless man? I can't even protect my own woman and daughter." A tear flashed in the middle-aged man's eyes. It had been so many years, and he had been holding it in. Only in front of a few close subordinates would he show a hint of sadness and exhaustion. To become a powerful person, one had to learn how to be ruthless. Too much emotional restraint would give the competitors a lot of opportunities to attack. Even if there was love in his heart, he had to show it. "Master, Feng Er doesn't know." Feng Er only knows that Master is a powerful person, a person who does great things. Those who do great things don't bother with trifles. The bodyguard called Feng Er replied respectfully. What else can you say besides these words? You're not as smart as your third brother. The middle-aged man shook his head helplessly. But you're loyal. You've been with me for so many years, but can you talk to me once in a while? Don't treat me as your master. Master will always be master. I don't know what else I can be, Feng Er said blankly. Forget it. The middle-aged man waved his hand. Let's watch the concert. All right. Miss is so beautiful. Feng Er nodded and said. The middle-aged man shook his head. His phone vibrated. Lin Yi took out his phone from his pocket and looked at the caller ID. It was Old Man Lin. Lin Yi was slightly taken aback. After all, the old man rarely took the initiative to call him. Most of the time, it was him who called him. And for the old man to call him, it must be something important. With that thought, Lin Yi quickly picked up the phone. Hello. Old man. What's up? Lin Yi said. What did you say? It's so noisy over there, can't you hear me? Old man Lin yelled into the phone. Where are you? What did you say? Lin Yi couldn't hear what Old Man Lin was saying. The concert was too loud, and the two of them couldn't hear each other clearly. Wait for me, I'll find a quiet place to call you. Lin Yi yelled into the phone, but his voice was quickly drowned out by the music. Lin Yi wanted to say something to Xiao Xiao, but she was waving her glow stick excitedly. Lin Yi didn't want to disturb her. He turned to Tang Yun, who had also stood up and was singing along with the miss, but she wasn't as engrossed as Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi pulled Tang Yun's hand, and she quickly lowered her head. What's wrong? I have something to do, so I'm going to make a call. I'll let you know. Lin Yi waved the phone in his hand. All right. Tang Yun nodded. Lin Yi stood up and left the VIP area, quickly leaving the stadium and heading to the washroom in the corridor. But when he got to the washroom on the first floor, Lin Yi heard voices coming from inside. It was a man's voice, and it sounded very familiar. Master Bing, I didn't see Su Shihan, but her manager rejected my suggestion. Yes, she said she wanted to spend money to treat her, but I told her that it's not negotiable. Don't worry, Master Bing, I'm at the concert. If she acts up, I'll go persuade her. If she doesn't go to Yao Wang, no one else can treat her. She'll definitely fall into Master Bing's arms. It was Su Jianang's voice. Lin Yi stood at the entrance of the washroom and listened for a while. He recognized the voice of an old acquaintance, and it seemed like he was talking to Zhao Qibing. As for the content of their conversation, Lin Yi could roughly understand it. The superstar Su Shihan probably had some illness and went to Yao Wang to treat her, and Zhao Qibing probably asked Su Shihan for some unspoken rules, which she rejected. Su Shihan wanted to spend money to treat her, but Zhao Qibing didn't agree, so the two were in a stalemate. Of course, this had nothing to do with Lin Yi. It didn't matter if Zhao Qibing was picking flowers or messing with grass, as long as he didn't provoke Lin Yi wouldn't care about him. Since he wanted to play with the superstar, then he couldn't interfere. This kind of thing, one was willing to fight, and the other was willing to suffer. That Su Shihan wanted to treat her, so it was natural for her to be played by Zhao Qibing. After listening for a while, Lin Yi didn't want to listen anymore, but this washroom, Lin Yi didn't plan to go in. Although Lin Yi could forcefully kick Su Jianang out, this washroom was obviously the closest one to the stadium. Now that Su Jianang was inside, it was hard to say if other people would come in. Lin Yi felt that the conversation between him and old Lin should be confidential, so Lin Yi didn't want others to hear it, and he couldn't let others hear it. Lin Yi decided to find another washroom that was further away. Chapter 1289. Ouch. Shirhan covered her temples with both hands, her whole body lying on the basin, breathing heavily. She thought that she would be able to get through the concert, but she didn't expect that her headache would act up again in the middle of the concert. The more Su Shirhan tried to calm the headache, the more it hurt, and the more anxious she was, the more painful it became. Su Shirhan. Lin Yi finally recognized the girl who was washing her face with cold water and screaming in pain. It was the famous celebrity, Su Shirhan. But, shouldn't Su Shirhan be on the stage? Why was she here? Moreover, it seemed like something had gone wrong. That's right. Lin Yi suddenly remembered that he heard Su Jiaonong and Zhao Qibing talking on the phone. They mentioned something about Su Shirhan's illness. Could it be this kind of headache? With that thought, Lin Yi felt that it was very possible. Ah! Su Shirhan heard someone call her name, and was shocked. She raised her head and looked at Lin Yi in fear. She rushed into the bathroom to wash her face with cold water, and she didn't think that there would be someone in the bathroom. This was the bathroom in the basement. Other than the staff, there shouldn't be anyone else. The staff should be busy cleaning up the mess. Why would there be someone in the bathroom? And, looking at Lin Yi's face, Su Shirhan obviously hadn't seen him before. Although it was impossible for Su Shirhan to know all the staff in the company, most of them looked familiar, and the staff all wore the same badge. No matter how this person dressed, he didn't look like a staff. Who are you? Su Shirhan looked at Lin Yi cautiously and asked. You have a headache. Lin Yi frowned. He didn't want to poke his nose into other people's business, but Lin Yi wasn't thinking about Su Shirhan's headache, but the consequences of her headache. Since Su Shirhan appeared here, the concert must be interrupted, and if Su Shirhan didn't recover, the concert would be forced to end early. This wasn't the result Lin Yi wanted to see. Lin Yi didn't like Su Shirhan, and he didn't really look forward to her singing, but Xiao Xiao was looking forward to it. Xiao Xiao had been looking forward to this concert for a long time. How could Lin Yi let her down? Xiao Xiao was different from normal people, and every day she lived was a day less. Other people might regret not being able to see the concert today, but Xiao Xiao would regret it forever. She might not be able to see Su Shirhan's concert in this lifetime. In order to let Xiao Xiao have a perfect day, Lin Yi wouldn't allow the concert to end early. So, he had no choice but to help Su Shirhan. You. What are you doing? Su Shirhan was very cautious towards a stranger in the washroom. She took 2 steps back subconsciously, but the splitting headache made her steps weak. She only took 2 steps back before she fainted on the floor. The only thought in her mind before she fainted was to call for help, but running from the stage to the washroom had used up all the energy in her body. She didn't have any extra energy left. Lin Yi didn't think that Su Shirhan would faint before he could say anything. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But Lin Yi still had to save her. He walked to Shirhan's side and didn't care too much. He directly grabbed her wrist and started checking her pulse, HM. Lin Yi felt Su Shirhan's pulse and frowned. He flipped her eyelids and looked at her tongue, but he didn't find any abnormalities. This surprised Lin Yi a little. This Su Shirhan, where did her headache come from? Of course, Lin Yi could feel Su Shirhan's pain, but he couldn't find the cause yet. It was really strange. But Lin Yi took out the silver needles from his pocket and sterilized them with pure qi. He started to perform acupuncture on Su Shirhan. He inserted needles into Su Shirhan's chest, head, wrist, and other parts of her body. Then, he started massaging her head and chest with his energy-infused hands. Ah! Su Shirhan moaned. Finally, she woke up under Lin Yi's acupuncture and massage. But when she woke up, she saw a man pushing her to the ground. One of the man's hands was placed on her chest. Pervert. Su Shirhan woke up immediately. She struggled to push Lin Yi away and get up from the ground. Don't move, wait for me to remove the needles. Lin Yi frowned and used his hand to seal Su Shirhan's acupuncture points. He didn't let her move or scream. Then, he started to remove the needles from Su Shirhan's body one by one. Su Shirhan's eyes widened in shock. She didn't know what Lin Yi did to her, but it seemed like he just touched her a few times, and she couldn't move or scream anymore. It was as if she had been injected with an anesthetic, and only her eyes and thoughts were still under her control. The rest of her body didn't seem to belong to her anymore. What was this man trying to do? The next moment, Su Shirhan saw Lin Yi pull out a bunch of needles from her body and put them in a small box. After doing all this, Lin Yi casually poked her body a few more times, returning her to normal. Ah! Shirhan subconsciously screamed as soon as she regained her composure. Lin Yi had no choice but to cover her mouth with a frown. Stupid girl, don't call me that. If it wasn't because my girlfriend wanted to watch the concert, I wouldn't even bother to save you. Don't think that you're some celebrity. You're not even close to my girlfriend. I have no interest in you. Stop dreaming. Whoa! Su Shirhan was furious. She wanted to argue, but her mouth was covered by Lin Yi. She couldn't make a sound. Did you hear me? Nod your head if you heard me. Lin Yi said coldly. Su Shirhan quickly nodded. She wasn't stupid. At this time, she had regained her consciousness. The splitting headache disappeared as well. It seemed like her headache was really cured by the person in front of her. Chapter 1290. It hurts. Su Shirhan covered her temples with both hands as she laid on the basin, gasping for air. She thought that she could make it through the concert, but she didn't expect that her headache would act up again in the middle of the concert. The more Su Shirhan tried to calm her headache down, the more anxious she got, the more painful it became. Su Shirhan. Lin Yi finally recognized her. The girl who was washing her face with cold water and screaming in pain was the superstar Su Shirhan. But shouldn't Su Shirhan be on the stage now? Why was she here? Moreover, it seemed like something had gone wrong. Right. Lin Yi suddenly remembered that he heard Su Jiaonong and Zhao Qibing talking on the phone. They mentioned something about Su Shirhan's illness. Could it be this kind of headache? With that thought, Lin Yi felt that it was very possible. Ah! Su Shirhan heard someone call her name and was shocked. She raised her head and looked at Lin Yi in fear. She rushed into the bathroom to wash her face with cold water. She didn't think that there would be someone in the bathroom. This was the bathroom in the basement. Other than the staff, there shouldn't be anyone else. The staff should be busy dealing with the aftermath. Why would there be someone in the bathroom? And, looking at Lin Yi's face, Su Shirhan obviously hadn't seen him before. Although it was impossible for Su Shirhan to recognize every single worker in the company, most of them looked familiar. Plus, all the workers in the company wore the same badge. No matter how this person dressed, he didn't look like a worker. Who are you? Su Shirhan looked at Lin Yi cautiously. You have a headache. Lin Yi frowned. He didn't want to be nosy. Lin Yi wasn't a nosy person. However, Lin Yi wasn't thinking about Su Shirhan's headache, but the consequences of her headache. Since Su Shirhan was here, the concert must be interrupted. If Su Shirhan didn't recover, the concert would be forced to end early. This wasn't what Lin Yi wanted to see. Lin Yi didn't like Su Shirhan. Whether she would continue singing or not, Lin Yi didn't look forward to it. But Xiao Xiao was looking forward to it. Xiao Xiao had been looking forward to this concert for a long time. How could Lin Yi let her down? Xiao Xiao was different from others. Every day she lived was a day less. Others might regret it if they couldn't see the concert today, but Xiao Xiao would regret it forever. Perhaps she wouldn't be able to see Su Shihan's concert for the rest of her life. In order to let Xiao Xiao have a perfect day, Lin Yi wouldn't allow the concert to end early, so he had to help Su Shihan. What do you want? Su Shihan was still very vigilant towards a stranger appearing in the bathroom. She subconsciously took 2 steps back, but the splitting headache made her steps weak. She only took 2 steps back before she fainted on the ground. Su Shihan's only thought before she fainted was to call for help. But running from the stage to the washroom had used up all the energy in her body. She didn't have any extra energy left. Lin Yi didn't expect Su Shihan to faint before he could say anything. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But Lin Yi still had to save her. He walked to Shihan's side and didn't care too much. He directly grabbed her wrist and started checking her pulse. Lin Yi felt Su Shihan's pulse and frowned. He flipped Su Shihan's eyelids and looked at her tongue, but he didn't find anything strange. This surprised Lin Yi. This Su Shihan, where did her headache come from? Of course, Lin Yi could feel Su Shihan's pain, but he couldn't find the cause yet. This was strange. But Lin Yi took out the silver needles from his pocket and sterilized them with pure qi. He started acupuncture on Su Shihan. He inserted needles into Su Shihan's chest, head, wrist, and other parts of her body. Then, he started massaging her head and chest with his energy-infused hands. Su Shihan moaned and finally woke up under Lin Yi's acupuncture and massage. But when she woke up, she saw a man pushing her to the ground. The man's hand was on her chest. Pervert. Su Shihan woke up immediately. She struggled to push Lin Yi away and got up from the ground. Don't move, wait for me to remove the needles. Lin Yi frowned and used his hand to seal Su Shihan's acupuncture points. He didn't allow her to move or scream. Then, he started to remove the needles from Su Shihan's body. Su Shihan's eyes widened. She was shocked. She didn't know what Lin Yi did to her, but it seemed like he just touched her a few times, and she couldn't move or scream anymore. It was as if she had been injected with an anesthetic, and only her eyes and thoughts were still under her control. The rest of her body didn't seem to belong to her anymore. This person, what was he trying to do? The next moment, Su Shihan saw Lin Yi remove the needles from her body and put them in a small box. After that, Lin Yi poked her body a few more times to make her go back to normal. Su Shihan subconsciously screamed when she returned to normal. Lin Yi had no choice but to cover her mouth and frowned. Stupid girl, don't scream. If it wasn't for my girlfriend wanting to watch the concert, I wouldn't even bother to save you. Don't think that you're some superstar. You can't even compare to my girlfriend. I have no interest in you. Stop dreaming. Whoa, Su Shihan was furious. She wanted to argue after hearing Lin Yi's words. But her mouth was covered by Lin Yi. She couldn't make a sound. Did you hear me? Nod if you hear me clearly. Lin Yi said coldly. Su Shihan quickly nodded. She wasn't stupid. She had regained her consciousness, and the splitting headache was gone. It seemed like her headache was really cured by the person in front of her. Chapter 1291. Su Shihan wasn't stupid, in fact, she was a smart girl. She had been in the entertainment industry for so many years, and she needed to maintain a clear head and a calm heart. So after a short moment of anger, she calmed down. This man in front of her was obviously not a normal person. She had fainted from the pain before, and this had happened before, but every time she fainted, the next time she woke up would be the next day. It wasn't that easy to wake up. But this man in front of her just used a few needles and a massage to wake her up, and her head didn't hurt at all. This was even more effective than Zhao Yaowang's miracle medicine. And what shocked her the most was that this man in front of her knew how to use acupuncture. She wasn't sure if it was called acupuncture, but it was called that in wuxia dramas. Lin Yi just used a few acupuncture points on her body, and she couldn't move or speak. She could only assume that Lin Yi knew how to use acupuncture. She was shocked that he knew how to use acupuncture and massage, but she only thought of him as a medical master. But if he knew how to use acupuncture, then he wasn't just a medical master anymore. Could it be that Lin Yi was a Wulin as well? But there were very few people in the Wulin who knew how to use acupuncture, right? Su Shihan wasn't a practitioner, but her bodyguard, Feng Sanhuang, was. She didn't know what level he was at, but from what he said, she had a certain understanding of Wulin practitioners. There were people who knew how to fight, but to be able to use acupuncture. This was unheard of. Looking at the eyes of the man in front of her, there wasn't a trace of evil in them. She knew that what he said was probably true. The eyes were the window to the soul, and especially for an actress like Su Shihan, she knew what eyes meant. The man in front of her really had no interest in her, and he wasn't just saying it. He was different from Zhao Qibing, who looked at her with lust and affection, but Lin Yi didn't. He didn't even look at her with admiration and excitement, as if he was looking at a normal person. Maybe this man was telling the truth, his girlfriend was prettier than her, and he saved her so that his girlfriend could continue to watch the concert. And so, Su Shihan nodded. But even so, she was filled with hatred towards Lin Yi. She was supposed to be grateful to Lin Yi, but she couldn't feel anything at all. Women are strange creatures, this sentence is not wrong at all. Lin Yi wasn't like Zhao Qibing, and that made her feel relieved, but Lin Yi wasn't interested in her at all, and even said that she wasn't as pretty as his girlfriend, which made her very unhappy. No matter what, she was a superstar who was the center of attention and was pampered by thousands of people. Did he not take her seriously at all? Was he blind? Plus, his reason for saving her was laughable, and it made her feel even less grateful. But in her heart, she didn't know why, but she was a little envious of Lin Yi's girlfriend. She was lucky to have a boyfriend like this. Lin Yi saw her nod and let go of the hand covering her mouth, saying faintly, "Are you done? If you're done, go back to the concert, no need to thank me. If you want to thank me, take a picture with my girlfriend after the concert, that's your reward." Hearing Lin Yi's words, Su Shihan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She didn't even say that she wanted to repay him, okay? With this attitude, he wanted her to repay him. Humph. Su Shihan was very angry. But being angry was one thing, and Su Shihan wasn't an ungrateful person. No matter what, Lin Yi helped her solve a big problem. Lin Yi's original intention wasn't important, what was important was that Su Shihan benefited from it. And so, without even thinking about it, she nodded and agreed. On one hand, it wasn't just to repay Lin Yi's kindness, but also to ask Lin Yi if he could cure her illness when they had enough time. From her point of view, Lin Yi had a way. Lin Yi's medical skills were probably higher than Zhao Yaowang's, and most importantly, Lin Yi didn't have that kind of thoughts towards her, so Su Shihan didn't worry about dealing with him, and let him treat her illness. Sure. This is my phone number, call me after the concert, and I'll send someone to pick you up. Su Shihan nodded quickly and said a string of numbers, then ran out of the washroom. Time was tight, and she had to touch up her makeup and go on stage again, so Su Shihan didn't have time to chat with Lin Yi. There was a problem with the stage, and the fans were very anxious. But there was someone who was very pleased, and that person was Su Jiaonong. The first thing he did was to call Zhao Qibing again. "Master Bing, good news," Su Jiaonong said excitedly. "What good news?" Su Shihan agreed. Zhao Qibing paused and asked. Su Shihan's illness acted up on stage, and she said that there was a problem with the stage, but I think it's most likely her headache. Su Jianong said, I'm going to take Yao Wang's medicine to Wang Laoshe and ask her if she agreed to your request. Ha! Good, I like taking advantage of people's difficulties. Zhao Qibing was very happy. This was a heaven-sent opportunity. Then you go now, and report to me as soon as you have good news. When Lin Yi went upstairs, he passed by the washroom on the first floor and heard the conversation between Su Jianong and Zhao Qibing. A playful smile appeared on his face. It seemed that Zhao Qibing's plan was going to fail. Although Lin Yi didn't have any special thoughts on whether or not Zhao Qibing was drooling over Su Shihan, but he unintentionally ruined one of Zhao Qibing's plans. Lin Yi was very satisfied. After leaving the corridor and returning to the VIP seats, Lin Yi smiled as he looked at the slowly rising stage. Su Shihan was probably going to go on stage again. Lin Yi, honey, you're back. There was a problem with the stage just now, and you left at the right time. You didn't miss any good performances, and you just came back and started again. You're so lucky. Xiao Xiao said when she saw that Lin Yi was back. Yeah, what a coincidence. If I didn't know that Shield Bro and Su Shihan didn't know each other, I would have thought that Shield Bro and Su Shihan had a date backstage. Yushu said. Chapter 1292. I'm not one of her fans, and I don't really understand, so I'm not interested. You guys watch, Lin Yi smiled, not replying to Yushu's words. The stage rose, and the concert restarted. Xiao Xiao and Yushu's attention returned to the concert, and they stood up, waving the light sticks in their hands with the other fans, celebrating the start of the concert. Lin Yi looked at Su Shihan on the stage. She seemed to be in good spirits, much better than before. Lin Yi smiled faintly. It seemed that Su Shihan was back to normal. Looking at the happy Xiao Xiao, Lin Yi felt that he made the right choice in saving Su Shihan. Of course, Su Shihan's reappearance made some happy, while others worried. Su Jianong didn't know that Su Shihan had reappeared. After ending the call with Zhao Qibing, he rushed to the basement and dialed Wang Wenshi's number. Hello. Wang Sis had just finished dealing with Su Shihan's matters, and she let out a sigh of relief when Su Shihan finally returned to the stage. Although she was wondering why Su Shihan was fine all of a sudden, time was of the essence, and Su Shihan didn't have time to explain. If she wanted to know the truth, she could only ask Su Shihan after the concert. Wang Sis was very familiar with Su Shihan's condition. Every time Su Shihan's illness acted up, it would hurt for a while. There was no way she could recover so quickly. And this time, it was obviously much worse than before. It seemed that Su Shihan had endured for a long time. Just as she was about to return to the resting room to watch Su Shihan's live recording, Wang Sis's phone rang. Seeing Su Jianong's name, she frowned. What was wrong with this Su Jianong? Wang Wenshi. I'm Su Jianong. Su Jianong's tone was proud and condescending. Mr. Su, what's the matter? Wang Sis asked faintly. It's like this. I heard that Miss Su's headache is acting up again. I happen to have Zhao Yao Wang's medicine on me. I wonder if Wang Wenshi and Miss Su can agree to Master Bing's request. Su Jianong went straight to the point. Some things didn't need to be hidden, especially in front of an understanding person like Wang Sis. Who told you that? Xiao Han is fine. It's just that the stage malfunctioned. It seems that President Su's information is wrong. Sister Wang was a shrewd person. Although she knew that what happened before couldn't escape Su Jianong's eyes, she wouldn't admit it personally. So, she just asked without saying anything. Just now, when Su Jiaonang opened his mouth, Wang Sis even thought that Su Shihan had gotten the headache medicine from Su Jiaonang and had taken it to calm her headache. Moreover, Su Shihan had paid a price in exchange for the concert to go on as usual. Wang Jia couldn't be blamed for thinking like that. After all, only Su Jiaonang, the spokesperson for Zhao Qibing and Zhao Yaowang, would be able to relieve Xiaohan's headache so quickly. Other than that, Sister Wang really couldn't think of anyone else with such great ability. But with Sister Wang's understanding of Su Shihan, she knew that Su Shihan was a strong person. She would rather die from the pain than agree to Zhao Qibing's unreasonable request. This was a girl who would rather die than submit. Unless she really liked someone, she wouldn't do anything over the line. And Su Jiaonang's words proved Sister Wang's guess. It seemed that Su Jiaonang didn't know that Su Shihan had returned to the stage and was performing as if nothing had happened. That was why he said such shameless words, wanting to make a deal with Sister Wang. Wang Jiaonang, let's not beat around the bush. What happened to Su Shihan? Was it because of the stage malfunction or because of her own problem? We all know this. I just want to ask you, do you want the concert to continue? If you want the concert to continue, then you better agree to Master Bing's request. I have medicine with me that can help Miss Su Shihan's headache immediately. Su Jiaonang said. President Su, I'm sorry. I already said that your information is wrong. Why don't you believe me? The stage has been fixed and Su Shihan is performing again. If you don't believe me, you can go and see for yourself. Sister Wang smiled. President Su, I think you can see this clearly. There's no need for me to lie to you, right? This. Su Jiaonang froze after hearing Sister Wang's words. But he did hear the sound of singing in the stadium again. At first, he thought that it was some song for the audience. But after listening carefully, it seemed like Su Shihan was speaking. Could it be that he made a mistake? Su Shihan didn't leave the stage because of a headache, but because of the stage malfunction. After hanging up the phone, Su Jiaonang went back upstairs to the concert venue, only to see Su Shihan standing on the stage in perfect condition, singing and dancing. She didn't look like she was having a headache at all. This made Su Jiaonang extremely depressed. It was just like what Sister Wang said. Nothing happened to Su Shihan. He made a mistake. Su Jiaonang sighed. He had boasted to Master Bing before, but now the problem was, how was he going to explain it to Master Bing? After one climax after another, the concert finally came to an end amidst the passionate cheers of the audience. Although the fans weren't done yet, it was time to leave. After Su Shihan finished the last song, she bowed to everyone and said, "Thank you, everyone, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend my concert. Thank you." Although there was a small incident in the middle of the concert, the end result was very smooth. Su Shihan. Su Shihan. Su Shihan. We can't bear to see you go. Su Shihan, we love you. The cheers from the audience came one after another. Su Shihan's eyes were a little wet. Thank you, everyone, thank you so much. But after 4 hours, everyone is tired. I'm tired too. I hope there'll be a chance for us to meet again next time. The next concert date hasn't been set yet. Everything will have to wait for the official news from the company's website. The stage slowly descended. Su Shihan waved to everyone and said goodbye reluctantly. Lin Yi looked at Su Shihan. He didn't know if she was really reluctant or just putting on a show. Chapter 1293. Lin Yi, honey, why aren't you driving? Xiao Xiao asked curiously. She saw that Lin Yi didn't seem like he was going to drive after everyone else had left. I'll bring you to take a picture with Su Shihan later, Lin Yi said faintly. Take a picture with Su Shirhan. Xiao Xiao blinked, shocked. Are you serious? Lin Yi honey, you're bringing me to take a picture with Su Shirhan. No way. I'm going to take a picture with her. Yes, I'll call her after the audience leaves, Lin Yi said. Shield bro, can we go too? Yushu asked quickly. I'll ask, Lin Yi nodded. Lin Yi, how do you know Su Shirhan? Or rather, how did you get Xiao Xiao to take a picture with her? Meng Yao asked curiously as she looked at Lin Yi. Coincidence, I bumped into her when I went to the washroom, Lin Yi shrugged with a smile. Wow, Shield bro, you're so strong. You bumped into Su Shirhan when you went to the washroom. Prophet Shu, you're so strong. I told you that Shield bro and Su Shirhan were going on a secret date. Yushu exclaimed. It's not a date, it's just a coincidence, Lin Yi said. Most of the people had left, and most of the cars were gone. Lin Yi took out his phone and dialed Su Shirhan's number. Hello. The call connected quickly, but it wasn't Su Shirhan who picked up. It was another girl. Lin Yi frowned. Could it be that Su Shirhan tricked him and gave him a fake number? Or did he remember wrongly? That couldn't be right. Is this Miss Su's number? Lin Yi didn't say Su Shirhan's name, only Miss Su. If he really dialed the wrong number and called Su Shirhan directly, she might think he was crazy. May I ask who you are? Wang Sis paused. It was an unknown number, and the caller didn't call the wrong number, calling Su Shirhan Miss Su. This made Wang Sis a little suspicious. The person who treated her. You'll know once you talk to her, Lin Yi said lightly. Oh. Please wait a moment. Wang Sis was taken aback. She quickly turned around and walked to Su Shirhan's side. Han, someone's calling, saying that it's the person who's going to treat you. At this moment, Su Shirhan had just removed her makeup and changed her clothes. Hearing Wang Sis's words, she immediately said, "Ah, he's looking for me. Wang Sis, give me the phone." Su Shirhan was still wondering if Lin Yi would call her, but it had been so long since the concert ended, and she still hadn't received a call from Lin Yi. This made her feel lost and uneasy. What if Lin Yi didn't remember the number or didn't call? Because she was in a hurry and didn't have her phone, pen, and paper with her, she didn't ask for Lin Yi's number. Now that she wanted to contact Lin Yi, she couldn't. So when Wang Sis said that Lin Yi was calling, Su Shirhan didn't dare to delay. She quickly asked for the phone. Wang Sis was slightly stunned. She didn't expect Su Shirhan to be so proactive. Wang Sis wanted to ask Su Shirhan how she got her headache after coming down from the stage, but she didn't have time because Su Shirhan was removing her makeup and changing her clothes. Now, the person who treated her was calling. Could it be that Su Shirhan's headache was cured by this mysterious person? I'm Su Shirhan. Su Shirhan said calmly after taking the phone. It's me. I'm bringing my girlfriend to you for a photo. Lin Yi asked. Okay, I'll get someone to pick you up. Just meet me at the stairs of the basement. Su Shirhan said. Okay, I'll go now. There are a few friends who want to take a photo with you. Can we go together? Lin Yi asked. Can we do it next time? The company has rules. I can't bring too many non-staff backstage. Why don't you come first, and after you leave, I'll let your friends come in. Su Shirhan said after thinking for a while. Then forget it. It's so troublesome. I won't make it difficult for you. We'll talk about it next time. Lin Yi could tell that Su Shirhan wasn't rejecting him, but there were people in the company. She couldn't make the decision. This was a very normal thing. After all, not just anyone could enter the backstage. Although Su Shirhan was a big star, she could bring in 1 or 2 people, but she couldn't bring in so many people at once. It was a bit difficult for her. So Lin Yi didn't want to make it difficult for her. It's not that troublesome. How about this, you come in first. When I leave, we'll find a place where there's no one and take a photo with your friends outside. Su Shirhan thought that Lin Yi had helped her so much before. If she didn't repay him, she would feel bad. Lin Yi's request was very simple. It was just a photo. If she couldn't do it, Su Shirhan would feel very guilty. That works. Lin Yi nodded. Then I'll go now. After hanging up, Lin Yi turned to Meng Yao, Shu, and Tang Yun in the back. I'll go in with Xiao Xiao first. You guys wait for me in the car. We can't have too many people backstage. When Su Shirhan comes out, you guys can take a photo with her. Okay. If it's too troublesome, it's fine. Tang Yun nodded. Meng Yao and Yushu didn't have any objections to this. After all, their goal was to make Xiao Xiao happy. Everything was for Xiao Xiao to be happy. They didn't care. Although the opportunity to take a photo with Su Shirhan was rare, there was a saying that as long as one was alive, there was hope. They were still young, but Xiao Xiao was different. Let's go, Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi opened the door and pulled Xiao Xiao out of the car. Xiao Xiao was a little embarrassed at this. Everyone couldn't go, and only she had this privilege. This made her excited, but at the same time, a little embarrassed. Xiao Xiao knew why everyone was letting her go. She sighed and didn't say anything. Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao went back to the gymnasium. At this time, all the fans had left, and the gymnasium was empty again. Other than the cleaning staff, there was no one else. Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao went to the first floor's stairs and saw a man waiting there. Seeing this man, Lin Yi's eyes froze. Not because he knew this man, but because this man was a mystic late-phase peak. Chapter 1294. Lin Yi didn't expect to meet such a master in this gymnasium. If he wasn't mistaken, this person should be Su Shirhan's bodyguard. Otherwise, Su Shirhan wouldn't have asked him to wait here for her. Lin Yi was surprised that Su Shirhan had such a powerful bodyguard. How could a celebrity have such a powerful bodyguard? How much would it cost to hire such a master? Was it a coincidence, or was there an unknown power behind Su Shirhan? Is there anything I can help you with? When Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao walked down the stairs, Feng Sanhuang walked up and asked faintly. He didn't ask if Lin Yi was looking for Su Shirhan, but asked what was the matter. This meant that even if Feng Sanhuang was sure that Lin Yi was the person Su Shirhan wanted to meet, he still asked out of caution. I called Su Shirhan. She asked you to come pick us up, right? Lin Yi asked. The two of you, please follow me. Feng Sanhuang nodded and didn't say much. He brought Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao to a resting room. Feng Sanhuang knocked on the door and pushed it open. Miss Su, the person you want to meet is here. Please come in. With that, Feng Sanhuang gestured for Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao to enter. Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao entered the resting room together. Su Shirhan was resting on the sofa. When she saw Lin Yi, she quickly stood up and went to greet him personally. It didn't matter if she didn't like Lin Yi, but Lin Yi was her savior. If it weren't for him, the concert would have been ruined. So Su Shirhan was still very polite to Lin Yi. You're here. Thank you so much for what you did before. I was in a rush and didn't have time to thank you. It's okay, I already said that I'm just helping my girlfriend finish the concert. Lin Yi waved his hand, looking at Su Shirhan indifferently. Wow, wow, wow. You're really Su Shirhan. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was very excited to see the superstar she liked standing in front of her. It really is Su Shihan. So you look even more beautiful and pure without makeup. You're pretty too, your boyfriend says you're prettier than me. Su Shihan smiled. But, as she spoke, she glared at Lin Yi, unsatisfied. She had to admit that Xiao Xiao was pretty, but she wasn't that bad herself. At most, it was a tie. They were about the same. Why was his girlfriend so much prettier than him? Of course not. Hee, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Xiao Xiao said, but she felt sweet inside. It seemed that Lin Yi's husband liked her a lot. Even Su Shihan's charm wasn't as good as hers. Not really, he has good taste. I can see that he treats you very well. Su Shihan shook her head, envious of Xiao Xiao. She was so lucky to have such a loyal boyfriend. A beauty like her was in front of Lin Yi, but he didn't care at all. It was as if she was a floating cloud. He didn't care about how pretty she was, he only had eyes for his girlfriend. Many men who saw her would want to take a picture with her or get intimate with her, but Lin Yi didn't seem to have that intention at all. Even if he wanted to take a picture with her, it would be with his girlfriend. He didn't even want to take a picture with her. You think he's nice too? Xiao Xiao was a little excited at Su Shihan's words. She felt that there was something going on between Lin Yi and Su Shihan. Otherwise, why would a superstar like Su Shihan be so nice to Lin Yi? Could it be that Su Shihan had her eyes on Lin Yi as well? With that thought, Xiao Xiao felt that it was possible, and hearing Su Shihan's envious tone, she was even more sure of it. Su Shihan was probably interested in Lin Yi's husband. If that was the case, then she'd help out. Ah. Su Shihan paused. How about you be Lin Yi's husband's girlfriend too? Then we'll go home and have a threesome. Xiao Xiao had been hanging out with Yushu lately, and her words had become a lot more aggressive. She was starting to become more like Yushu. But it was because she didn't have much time left, and she didn't have to worry so much anymore. Ah. Su Shihan's eyes widened, and her face reddened. What? A threesome? Did she hear wrongly? Lin Yi was waiting for Xiao Xiao as if nothing had happened, but when he heard Xiao Xiao's words, he almost fell to the ground. What did she say? A threesome with Su Shihan. Lin Yi remembered the wish on Xiao Xiao's phone, and he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Ahem. Xiao Xiao, didn't you want a picture? Hurry up and take a picture, stop joking around. Lin Yi scolded. He was afraid that Xiao Xiao would say something else if she kept talking. Ah, right. A picture. I almost forgot. Xiao Xiao slapped her forehead and exclaimed. She was a little aroused when she saw Su Shihan, and then she started talking incoherently, forgetting why she was here in the first place. Now that she remembered, she quickly said, "Wait for me to dress up, I'll be right there. Let me use the dressing room." With that, Xiao Xiao ran into the dressing room in the lounge, preparing to fix her appearance. Seeing Xiao Xiao run over, Lin Yi didn't stop her. Using this chance, Lin Yi quickly walked in front of Su Shihan. There were some things he had to explain to her. Miss Su, don't take my girlfriend's words seriously. She likes to mess around. Lin Yi sighed and lowered his voice. Actually, she has a terminal illness, she won't be able to hold on much longer. So, don't argue with her. Ah. Su Shihan froze at Lin Yi's words. After hearing Xiao Xiao's words, her impression of Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi really did drop. She even wondered if Lin Yi was a hypocrite. He looked like a loyal person, but in reality, he was just like Zhao Qibing, the type of person who liked women. But now that she heard Lin Yi's explanation, she was shocked. She has a terminal illness. That's why I didn't want your concert to stop halfway. Lin Yi nodded. She likes you, and one of her wishes is to see your concert and take a picture with you. I don't want her to leave this world with disappointment, that's why I saved you. So you don't have to feel anything for me. I saved you because I didn't want Xiao Xiao to be disappointed. Chapter 1295. Chapter 1293, A Superstar's Request. In fact, Shirhan understood that Lin Yi didn't like her. In Lin Yi's eyes, she was no different from a stranger, so it was normal that Lin Yi didn't save her. Why would she think that Lin Yi would save her? So she didn't mind what Lin Yi said. Powerful? Maybe, but there are always regrets in life. No matter how powerful someone is, there are always things they can't do. We aren't omnipotent. Lin Yi shook his head and said sadly, she lacks a medicine, and it's hard to find nowadays. Yeah, we aren't omnipotent. Shirhan sighed and nodded, so that's how it is. She's so pitiful, that's why her way of thinking is a bit weird. Don't mind it, I've seen some of her wishes. One of them is that if she's a boy, she wants to push you down, if she's a girl, she wants to do that. That's indirectly pushing you down. Lin Yi explained for Xiao Xiao. He didn't want Shirhan to misunderstand her. As for Lin Yi himself, it didn't matter. Misunderstanding or not, it didn't matter. Ha! Shirhan paused after hearing Lin Yi's words. Is that so? Your girlfriend's way of thinking is really weird. Yeah, she knew that she wouldn't live past 20. It's normal that her way of thinking is different from others. Lin Yi said, so Miss Su, I hope that you can spend more time with her. Consider it a request of mine. Of course, no problem, Shirhan agreed. Shirhan agreed right away. Now that the misunderstanding was cleared up, she felt quite sympathetic towards Xiao Xiao. In the past, Shirhan thought that she was very unlucky, having a family tragedy since she was young, and now she had a headache that felt like it was going to explode at any moment. But compared to Xiao Xiao, all of that was nothing. Very quickly, Xiao Xiao came running out of the dressing room, and Lin Yi stopped talking and moved to the side. Shirhan had a professional photographer with her, and she told Wang Sis about it, and Wang Sis got the photographer over to take a photo of her and Xiao Xiao. Since Shirhan knew about Xiao Xiao's background, she was very patient and serious when taking photos, not showing any impatience at all. Wow, I never thought that one day I would be able to take so many pictures with Su Shirhan. Lin Yi honey, come take a picture with us. Xiao Xiao waved at Lin Yi excitedly. I'm not taking pictures. You guys take pictures. I don't like taking pictures. Lin Yi waved his hand. He wasn't interested in taking pictures with celebrities. Come on, Lin Yi honey, treat it as keeping me company. Xiao Xiao said, a little reluctant. All right, then I'll take one. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and walked over. Shirhan was seething with anger. I'm a superstar. There are so many people who want to take pictures with me, and you don't like taking pictures. Do you think I want to take pictures with you? Humph. If it weren't for you helping me once, and Xiao Xiao being so pitiful, do you think I'd be that free? Keeping you guys company for fun. But she could only say this in her heart, cursing Lin Yi 1,000 times in her heart. She couldn't say it out loud. Lin Yi stood beside Xiao Xiao, putting Xiao Xiao in the middle of the picture. Shirhan was even more annoyed. Didn't she always put herself in the middle when taking pictures with other people, and the other person stood on either side of her? But now, he had become a foil for her. And so, this picture, Shirhan didn't smile. She pursed her lips and finished the picture, feeling wronged, as if she was a punching bag. After taking the pictures, Shirhan's employees were almost done packing up. Everyone was getting ready to leave for the celebration party. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was satisfied. She didn't want to bother Shirhan anymore. Miss Su, thank you. Lin Yi nodded to Shirhan. No matter what, Xiao Xiao was happy today. Lin Yi's impression of Shirhan improved. You're welcome. I didn't do anything. Shirhan shook her head with a smile. Then Xiao Xiao and I won't bother you anymore. We'll leave first. I can see that you guys have other things to do. You're going to the celebration party, right? We'll leave first. As for taking pictures with my friend, we'll talk about it when we have the chance. Lin Yi didn't want to trouble Shirhan too much. After all, he took up so much of her time today. Lin Yi felt bad. Mr. Lin, please wait. Su Shirhan hesitated. I do need to go to the celebration party later, but can I invite you and Miss Feng to come too? Shirhan had two reasons for doing this. First, she wanted to ask Lin Yi if her headache could be cured. After all, this illness had been tormenting her for so many years. If there was a chance to get better, she wouldn't let it go. Secondly, Shirhan really did sympathize with Xiao Xiao, and bringing her to the celebration was to spend more time with her. Join the celebration party. Lin Yi frowned. He was suspicious of Shirhan's goal. Although he did help Shirhan, Shirhan accompanied Xiao Xiao to take pictures with her. That counted as returning the favor. No matter what, they didn't owe each other anything. Now that Shirhan invited him and Xiao Xiao to her celebration party, it was a bit too warm. Could it be that she had another goal? Lin Yi wasn't stupid. Shirhan's goal was to cure her illness. Her headache was only temporarily suppressed by his acupuncture and massage, but it would still come back. If Shirhan wanted to find him, other than this goal, Lin Yi couldn't think of any other reason. Mr. Lin, tell me the truth. Su Shirhan hesitated and didn't hide anything. First of all, I feel like Miss Xiao Xiao and I are very close. I don't have many friends, so I want to make Xiao Xiao my friend. Second, I have some questions about my body that I want to ask you, Mr. Lin. Ha. Lin Yi was surprised by Shirhan's honesty, but his impression of her improved a bit. Let's ask Xiao Xiao for her opinion. Lin Yi's words meant that he didn't reject Shirhan's suggestion. He wanted her to ask for Xiao Xiao's opinion. If Xiao Xiao agreed, then he'd be fine with it. Lin Yi's mind was on Xiao Xiao. As long as she was happy, it was fine. Chapter 1296. Chapter 1294. You're not sick, Xiao Xiao, what do you think? Shirhan turned to Xiao Xiao. She said this from the bottom of her heart. She didn't know why, but the moment she saw Xiao Xiao, she felt a sense of closeness. Really? Can I go? Xiao Xiao naturally wanted to go, but she raised her head to look at Lin Yi. Then let's go. I'll call Mang Yao and the others and tell them to go back first, Lin Yi nodded. That's great. Xiao Xiao said happily. The Miss, Shu, and Tang Yun were easy to talk to. Lin Yi told them about the situation, and they said that there was no problem. They went back to wait for Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao. It was obvious that the three of them had the same opinion about Xiao Xiao. Wang Sis knew that Shirhan's headache was solved by Lin Yi, so she didn't think that it was inappropriate for Shirhan to invite Lin Yi to the celebration party. Plus, it wasn't just people from the company at the celebration banquet. There were some famous people from the society as well, so bringing Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao wasn't a problem. Lin Yi, Xiao Xiao, and Shirhan walked out of the gym side by side. San Huang, on the other hand, stood next to Shirhan. It didn't look like much, but Lin Yi could feel that he was on high alert. As a mystic late-phase peak spiritual practitioner, he was able to do this for a superstar. It surprised Lin Yi. Is Miss Sue's bodyguard very responsible? Staying close to her, the salary must be quite high, right? Lin Yi smiled and asked casually. It's all right, it's a bit more expensive than normal bodyguards, 30,000 a month. Shirhan didn't hide it and said directly. 30,000. It is indeed more expensive than normal, Lin Yi nodded, but he was even more surprised and confused. A spiritual practitioner at the peak of mystic late phase costs 30,000 a month. If he were to become a bodyguard for a noble house, not to mention 30,000, even 300,000 would be too little. Back when Lin Yi was Mingyao's bodyguard as a golden class, he already earned this much after a month, and Lin Yi relied on old Lin's introduction. And so, Lin Yi was quite curious about this San Huang. But, Lin Yi didn't ask. San Huang evidently didn't know that Lin Yi had seen through his strength, and his face was still expressionless. Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao got in Shirhan's SUV together. Xiao Xiao and Shirhan sat together in the same row, while Lin Yi sat on the other side of the car. Mr. Lin, sorry for interrupting. Can we talk about my health? About my headache? Shirhan had already told him about how she met Lin Yi, as well as about her headache. Honey, can you take a look at her? Poor Su Shirhan, she gets headaches all the time. Xiao Xiao and Su Shirhan were very close, so she was naturally worried about her condition. Since Lin Yi came, he naturally expected this. He didn't reject and grabbed Shirhan's arm, feeling her pulse again. Shirhan blushed when Lin Yi grabbed her arm. She had never been so close to a man before. Although Lin Yi was treating her, she still felt a little embarrassed, especially when his girlfriend was right next to him. San Huang sat at the back of the car, and when he saw Lin Yi grab Shirhan's arm, his face changed slightly, but since Shirhan didn't say anything, he didn't stand up to stop him. Feng San Huang was sitting at the back of the car, and his face changed slightly when he saw Lin Yi grabbing Su Shirhan's arm, but Su Shirhan didn't say anything, so he didn't stand up to stop him. More than 10 years. I don't know when it started, I was too young. Shirhan frowned as if she was recalling the past. Her face showed a painful expression. It's been more than 10 years. I don't know exactly when it started, I was too young. Shirhan frowned as if she was recalling the past. Her face couldn't help but show a pained expression. But then, Shirhan's face became extremely pale, and cold sweat dripped down her forehead. What she didn't expect was that the headache started again. And at this time, coincidentally or not, it gave Lin Yi the chance to check. Headache. Shirhan held her head with both hands and said with difficulty, it started again. Lin Yi frowned and quickly checked Shirhan's pulse, eyelids, tongue, and other parts of her body, but he didn't find anything abnormal. After thinking for a while, Lin Yi took out the needles and started treating Shirhan. This time, Shirhan was in a conscious state, so when Lin Yi's hand touched her chest, Shirhan's face showed a touch of shyness, but she also knew that Lin Yi wasn't taking advantage of her, he was really treating her. She knew Lin Yi very well, and she knew Lin Yi's character very well. To say that Lin Yi had any thoughts towards her, Shirhan absolutely didn't believe it. She could see from the photo that Lin Yi wasn't interested in her, and when he checked her pulse, Lin Yi was just doing his routine, he let go after touching her, he didn't even want to touch her for a while longer. How could such a person take advantage of her? Moreover, his girlfriend was watching from the side, how would he dare to do it? Wait, it seemed like her girlfriend was very supportive of him doing anything to her. Thinking up to here, Shirhan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This girlfriend, she was the best, right? However, when Lin Yi was doing this, Wang Sis was a bit nervous. Shirhan was a public figure after all, it didn't seem right to let a man touch her chest so intimately. But since it was a treatment, and Shirhan didn't object, Wang Sis could only watch nervously. And Feng Sanhuang was also very nervous, his eyes staring straight at Lin Yi, as if Lin Yi did anything wrong, he would rush up and kill Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't feel anything towards Wang Sis's gaze, but towards a master like Feng Sanhuang, Lin Yi maintained enough vigilance. Who knew where he came from? Lin Yi didn't dare to guarantee that he wouldn't suddenly attack when he was treating Shirhan. Much better. Shirhan looked at Lin Yi gratefully. Much better, my head doesn't hurt anymore. Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything. He quickly put away all the silver needles on Shirhan's body. You're not sick, you're very healthy. Lin Yi confirmed this time, and very seriously said to Shirhan. Ah. Shirhan suddenly froze. She looked at Lin Yi strangely. I'm not sick. Very healthy. What do you mean? Chapter 1297. A painful past, not sick. Su Shirhan froze. You mean, my body is not sick? Then my headache. The headache exists, but there's nothing wrong with your body. Lin Yi explained, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your body to cause headaches. You can still have headaches even if there's nothing wrong with your body. There are many factors that can cause headaches. For example, you've encountered some troublesome things, or you've encountered some sad things. All of these can cause headaches. Business going bankrupt, family and friends passing away, these can also cause headaches. Then Su Shirhan suddenly remembered that she went to see a famous doctor in Songshan City before. After a detailed examination, the conclusion was that she was not sick. Other hospitals also couldn't find any problems. Could it be that what Lin Yi said was true? When that famous doctor gave this conclusion, Wang Sis even said that he was a liar. Su Shirhan didn't say anything at that time. After all, although that famous doctor gave the conclusion, he couldn't cure her. But now, Su Shirhan kind of believed in Lin Yi's words, because Lin Yi's medical skills were obviously better than that person, even better than Zhao Yaowang. So Su Shirhan still believed in Lin Yi's conclusion. She was just a bit shocked. After Wang Sis heard Lin Yi's words, she couldn't help but frown. She wanted to say something, but she also saw Lin Yi's medical skills, so she didn't say anything in the end. But, I don't have any headaches or pressure right now. Su Shirhan hesitated and asked. I didn't say right now. I asked you before, when did your headaches start? You told me that it was when you were very young. This means that it happened when you were very young. At that time, you encountered something that gave you headaches. Maybe it's life, maybe it's your family or friends. But this thing hasn't been solved yet, so your headaches have continued until now. Lin Yi said, this is a psychological hint, a knot in your heart. It's not a physical problem. Ah. Su Shirhan listened to Lin Yi's analysis and couldn't help but look at Lin Yi in shock. It wasn't that Lin Yi's words were shocking, but Lin Yi's words just happened to hit the nail on the head. Lin Yi was right. When she was young, she indeed encountered something that made her heartbroken. Every time she thought about it, Su Shirhan would have a splitting headache, so she could only try her best not to think about it. However, before, Su Shirhan didn't think that this matter had anything to do with her headaches. In her mind, her headaches were always there, and whenever she thought about these sad things, it would trigger the headaches. But she never thought that these sad things were the source of her headaches. At this time, Wang Jia also looked at Lin Yi in shock. Before, she still had some doubts about what Lin Yi said about Su Shirhan not having an illness, but now, she didn't doubt it at all. Su Shirhan's painful past when she was young was no secret to Wang Jia, but Lin Yi was an outsider. It was impossible for him to know the secret. The only possibility for him to say this was that his diagnosis was correct. Maybe you're right. When I was young, I did encounter some sad things. This is a knot in my heart, and I haven't untied it yet. Su Shirhan sighed and said softly, are you willing to listen to me? Let's hear it. Lin Yi nodded. There were no outsiders in the car. Today, Su Shihan was riding in the company's large business car. The driver's cabin was separated from the back, so only Lin Yi, Xiao Xiao, Wang Sis, and Feng Sanhuang could hear her words. Wang Sis and Feng Sanhuang obviously knew about these things. From their expressions, Lin Yi could tell this. He could tell that they were close to Su Shihan. She didn't hide it from them. When I was young, I always lived with my mom. Dad only came to visit us once in a while. At that time, I asked my mom, why didn't Dad stay with us every day? My mom told me that Dad was very busy with his career, and he didn't have that much time. He only came to visit us occasionally when he was free. At that time, I didn't know much. I thought that what my mom said was true, but after I grew up, I gradually understood that I was an illegitimate daughter. I took my mom's surname, and even now, I don't know what Dad's surname is. When I was 4, one night, a vicious woman suddenly barged into our house. She called my mom a little bitch, called me a little bastard. At this point, Su Shihan's face darkened. After thinking about it, that woman was probably Dad's legal wife. That woman and her subordinates wanted to kill me and my mother. In order to save me, my mother was severely injured by that woman, but in the end, she still managed to escape from that woman's clutches. After that, Mom fainted on the way, and I wanted to call for help, but I got lost and was sent to an orphanage. I was too young then, and when I grew up, I went to that place to look for Mom, but I couldn't find her. After that, I never saw my mom again. I don't know if she's already. At this point, Su Shihan's tears flowed out of her eyes, and she started sobbing. Although Su Shihan's story was intermittent, but Lin Yi already understood the tragic story that Su Shihan was telling. It seemed that Su Shihan's mother was a woman that the man kept outside, but was found out by his wife. She brought people to get rid of the problem, but the mother and daughter managed to escape. And Su Shihan, without her father and mother, this knot in her heart, it would be strange if it could be solved. Miss Su, I'm sorry for your loss. Life is unpredictable, but Miss Su's current achievements are also unattainable by ordinary people. I can't help you with this, it's not an illness, you have to rely on yourself. Lin Yi sighed. Thank you. No matter what, I still have to thank you. I found the source of my headache. Su Shihan said. Then what should I do now? Chapter 1298. Are you threatening me? Thank you, Mr. Lin. Shihan was very grateful after hearing Lin Yi's words. Although that Zhao Yaowang's painkiller was very effective, compared to Zhao Qibing, Lin Yi wouldn't make those unreasonable requests. It's fine, you don't have to thank me. Since you and Xiao Xiao hit it off, we're friends now. Lin Yi recognized Shihan as a friend because of Xiao Xiao. Okay, how much is the medicine you gave me? Although we're friends, I can't take advantage of you when it comes to medical fees, Shihan nodded. Forget about the money, we're not friends. I might not do it even if you give me money, Lin Yi waved his hand. If you want it, I'll give it to you. That won't do, this is a different matter. My headache is a long-term problem, and I'll be asking you for medicine in the future. I can't just give it to you for free, can I? Shihan said. That won't happen. You can only take the medicine I gave you for a short period of time, but Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine company's painkiller pill is going to be released soon. You can buy it yourself then. It's my prescription, the effect is the same, Lin Yi said. Ah! Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine company. Shihan's eyes widened, and she turned around to look at Wang Sis. She blushed. Are you talking about Guan Xuemin's Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine company? It just opened recently, and there's a new product on the market. You know about it? Yes, I told Fatty Lai to invite you as a guest, but you rejected him, Lin Yi remembered. Ugh. Shirhan stuck her tongue out. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were involved in that company. If I knew, I would have come. I hope you don't mind. It's fine, it's just a new product launch, Lin Yi didn't mind, I just wanted to be a celebrity. And, can I be your spokesperson? Don't worry, it's free. Su Shirhan felt that if she didn't do something, she would feel bad. That's fine too. It'll be great if you're free. Lin Yi didn't mind. It was good to have a celebrity effect. Wang Sis listened to Su Shirhan's suggestion and didn't stop her. After all, Su Shirhan received a huge favor from Lin Yi today. She thought that Su Shirhan's headache was going to fail again, but she didn't think that Lin Yi would solve the problem. This way, not only did he not have to worry about Zhao Qibing's mood, but Lin Yi also looked more reliable than Zhao Yaowang, who was covered in lightning rods. Then it's settled. Shirhan nodded as if she had to be Lin Yi's spokesperson no matter what. Xiao Xiao listened to Su Shirhan's story and felt that she was a pitiful person. She wasn't even as happy as her short-lived self. However, Xiao Xiao didn't say anything. She didn't want to affect Lin Yi's treatment, so she sat quietly on the side until everything was settled. She said excitedly, Su Shirhan, I can see you often in the future. Haha, yeah, Xiao Xiao, come and play with me often. Shirhan smiled, Mr. Lin has my phone number, you can call me when the time comes. Call me Lin Yi, Mr. Lin is a bit awkward, Lin Yi said. That's fine, then don't call me Miss Su, call me Su Shirhan or Han, Shirhan nodded. Right, have you seen Zhao Qibing before? Lin Yi suddenly remembered the conversation between Su Jiaonang and Zhao Qibing outside the washroom on the first floor of the stadium. Yeah, I did. But Zhao Qibing's request was too difficult for me, so I didn't go to him for treatment, Shirhan said with an unnatural expression on her face. That's good, it's best if you don't see him, it's easy to die, Lin Yi reminded. Ah. Die? Shirhan blinked. It's nothing, as long as you don't see them again, Lin Yi didn't explain much. The car drove slowly on the road and arrived at Songshan Starlight Hotel. Su Shirhan's celebration banquet was held here. The entertainment company had invited some celebrities to attend the banquet. Lin Yi, Xiao Xiao, wait for me at the party. I need to go on stage to do my makeup, Shirhan said apologetically to Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao after getting off the car. After all, this was the procedure of the party, and Shirhan couldn't change it. She could only ignore Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao for the time being. No problem, don't worry about us, we'll be fine. Lin Yi shrugged nonchalantly. He brought Xiao Xiao here mainly to see Shirhan. Lin Yi didn't really care. After getting off the car, Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao took the invitation card from Wang Sis and walked towards the hotel. Shirhan and Wang Sis, on the other hand, followed the staff to change into their dresses. Mr. Lin, please wait, Lin Yi only took 2 steps before he was stopped. It was Shirhan's bodyguard, Feng Sanhuang. What's the matter? Lin Yi stopped and turned around. Mr. Lin, I hope you won't divulge Miss Su's condition and what she told you today. Otherwise, I can't guarantee your safety. Feng Sanhuang walked over, lowered his voice, and said coldly. Feng Sanhuang wasn't afraid that it would affect Shirhan's image, but he was afraid that his master's enemies and the mistress of the house would hear about it. It would bring unnecessary trouble. Are you threatening me? Lin Yi didn't get angry. Instead, he smiled and looked at Feng Sanhuang. Lin Yi didn't think that Feng Sanhuang would be this loyal, chasing after him just to tell him these things. You can think of it that way, even if you're a mystic mid-phase peak, Feng Sanhuang said faintly. Lin Yi heard Feng Sanhuang's words and was slightly surprised. He didn't think that Feng Sanhuang could tell his strength level already. But after thinking for a while, Lin Yi understood why Feng Sanhuang knew his strength level. When Lin Yi used his qi to disinfect the needles, he only used his qi for a split second. He didn't think that Feng Sanhuang would sense it. Don't think that just because you're a mystic late-phase peak spiritual practitioner, you can talk big in front of me like this. Lin Yi looked at Feng Sanhuang and said, I'm a person who can be persuaded but not cowed. I won't betray my friends, but you're not my friend. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Chapter 1299. Who was this person? It wasn't surprising that he could tell Lin Yi's strength level because Lin Yi had shown his strength when he was sterilizing the needles. But Feng Sanhuang was sure that he hadn't used his qi at all from the beginning to the end, so how did Lin Yi discover his true strength? This made Feng Sanhuang very surprised. Feng Sanhuang didn't know if Lin Yi was telling the truth or not, but from the fact that Lin Yi could tell his strength and was so calm in front of him, it should be true. In other words, Lin Yi could fight against a mystic late-phase peak master. Feng Sanhuang felt that he was being a busybody for the first time. But Lin Yi's words made him feel relieved. He said that he wouldn't betray his friends. So Feng Sanhuang shook his head and quickly caught up with Su Shihan's team. Lin Yi honey, what's the meaning of this bodyguard? Is he threatening us? And he's a mystic late-phase peak. Xiao Xiao asked in surprise after Feng Sanhuang left. And, indeed, this person is a bit mysterious. Lin Yi nodded. I don't know why a mystic late-phase peak like him would lower himself to be Su Shihan's bodyguard, and he only gets 30,000 a month, it's too cheap. But I can see that he's doing this for Su Shihan's sake. He's threatening us because of Su Shihan, so as long as he's good to her, it's fine. It has nothing to do with us, Xiao Xiao said. Yeah, it has nothing to do with us. Lin Yi held Xiao Xiao's hand and entered the hotel. Because of the photo in the gymnasium, they were delayed a bit, so Su Shihan, the staff, and Lin Yi were the last to arrive at the hotel. As for the invited celebrities, they had already arrived at the star-studded banquet hall. Lin Yi entered the banquet hall with Wang Si's invitation and brought Xiao Xiao to a corner to sit down. Lin Yi was very low-key, because in the banquet hall, Lin Yi saw a few familiar faces. Cihua, Xiao Qibing, Xiao Wangdao, Xiao Wangba, and Wu Chintian who was with them. In addition, there was another person who looked familiar to Lin Yi, as if he had seen him somewhere before. Who was this person? Isn't that Iron Fist Wu, that idiot? Xiao Xiao saw Chintian as well. And those two idiot brothers from the Xiao family. It's him. Let's not care about them. We'll wait for Su Shihan here. Lin Yi was not interested in these people. As long as they did not take the initiative to provoke Lin Yi, then Lin Yi was not interested in finding trouble with them. Qibing was very happy today. He knew that Shihan wouldn't welcome him to the celebration, but as one of the young masters of Songshan City, he still got an invitation from the entertainment company. The entertainment company didn't know about the feud between Su Shihan and Zhao Qibing. As long as it was a young master in Songshan, the entertainment company would send an invitation card. Although Su Shihan was a celebrity and had no scandals, sometimes, she still needed the participation of these young masters to raise her value. How could a superstar with no one chasing after her be a superstar? Master Bing, your leg. Why isn't it healed yet? Xiao Wangba looked at Qibing's wheelchair curiously. Qibing's leg had been broken for so long, and with Yao Wang beside him, it should be healed soon. Why was he still in a wheelchair? Let's not talk about it anymore. Qibing's face darkened. Wasn't it because of Lin Yi? But now, he couldn't do anything to Lin Yi at all. Wang Ba saw that Qibing's face wasn't looking good, so he didn't bring up the topic anymore. He changed the topic. Although the Xiao family had the support of the hidden house Pai and had changed a lot, House Xiao was a hidden house to begin with. Compared to them, the Xiao family was still a head lower. Naturally, he didn't dare to act rashly in front of Qibing. Master Bing, Su Shihan is a beauty. Do you have any ideas on how to get her back? Wang Ba asked. In fact, the Xiao family brothers came here with the intention of getting close to her, but since Qibing was here, they naturally had to ask for his opinion. It wouldn't look good if they fought with Qibing. As for Wu Qintian, there was no need to worry. He came here to accompany the Xiao family brothers. He had been hanging out with the Xiao family brothers for a while now, so they were very familiar with each other. But Qintian was very infatuated with Sun Jingyi, so he wasn't interested in playing with celebrities. Ha, you're right. I'm here for Su Shihan. Qibing laughed. This Su Shihan, she's even prettier in real life than on TV. That girl, after one look at her, my heart itches so much, I really want to carry her to bed right now. Qibing chuckled. Qibing smiled. Zhao Qibing didn't hold back at all, his voice loud and clear. In fact, he was saying it for the people around him to hear. Most of the people here knew Zhao Qibing, and they all knew that he had a powerful background. So with what he said, even if someone wanted to do something to Shihan, they'd have to think twice about Zhao Qibing. I see. Then I wish you success, Zhao bro, and get the beauty back. Wang Ba's face was a little unnatural. He had the same idea, but now he could only be a foil for Qibing. He couldn't help it. He was a disciple of a hidden house, after all. Qintian, on the other hand, didn't feel anything. He was chatting with the young man that Lin Yi was familiar with. It seemed like Qintian was trying to get into the young man's good books, and the young man was talking to Qintian calmly, as if he didn't like Qintian at all. Who was this person? Lin Yi frowned, trying to figure out the young man's identity. Lin Yi was 100% sure that he'd seen this person before, but he couldn't remember where he'd seen this person at the moment. But he was sure that this person wasn't very familiar with him, or else he wouldn't be unable to remember anything after thinking for so long. Just when Lin Yi was thinking about who this person was, there was a commotion in the crowd, and music started playing. It seemed like Su Shihan was going to appear. Chapter 1300. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. As these people entered the hall, the guests quieted down and focused their attention on Su Shihan. Su Shihan walked to the front of the stage, and under the warm applause of the guests, she walked up the stage with the middle-aged man. Wang Sis and Feng Sanhuang, on the other hand, stood below the stage. They were her manager and bodyguards, so they couldn't go on stage with Su Shihan. Thank you, everyone, for coming to our company's Miss Su Shihan's concert. The middle-aged man started speaking after he got on stage. As the CEO of the entertainment company, he was naturally the first to speak. Today's concert was a success. Here, I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who supported Miss Su Shihan, as well as my sincere blessings to Miss Su Shihan. Thank you. The middle-aged man's speech was short and formal. Although Su Shihan was his subordinate, the middle-aged man didn't dare to neglect her at all. Not to mention that Su Shihan was his money tree, the background behind her was enough to intimidate the middle-aged man. He still remembered that 3 years ago, when he was drunk, he lost control of himself and wanted to get rid of Su Shihan. At that time, Feng Sanhuang's fierce skills and cold eyes, as well as the golden-class bodyguard that he hired with a lot of money, was knocked unconscious by Feng Sanhuang with one punch. The middle-aged man's heart was about to explode. Especially when Feng Sanhuang vaguely pointed out Su Shihan's background, the middle-aged man was so scared that he knelt on the ground and begged for mercy, saying that he would treat Su Shihan like his own daughter in the future, and make her the pillar of the company. Although the people weren't very interested in the middle-aged man's speech, since they were all here to see Su Shihan, but because he was the CEO of the entertainment company, they had to give him face. So after his speech, everyone still responded with a warm applause. After the applause, it was Su Shihan's turn to speak. Today, I was very happy. Although there was a small accident in the middle of the concert, it was solved in the end. Su Shihan smiled. Thank you to those who helped me, thank you. Su Shihan's words seemed to be directed at the guests and staff, but in fact, it was directed at Lin Yi. She believed that Lin Yi should be able to understand. However, Lin Yi understood, but he didn't express anything. He just smiled faintly and didn't even raise his head. Seeing that Lin Yi in the corner didn't have any reaction, Su Shihan was a little angry. When she was talking, everyone looked at her with enthusiasm, only Lin Yi, she didn't know what he was doing. Did he fall asleep? Su Shihan wanted to rush down the stage and kick him, but considering that there were so many people here, and Lin Yi was her benefactor, Su Shihan could only accept it. If Lin Yi was just a passerby, Su Shihan wouldn't be so angry, but now that they were friends, she was still being ignored. Su Shihan didn't feel comfortable. Su Shihan's speech was also very short. For this kind of occasion, Su Shihan was just dealing with it. These guests who came to the celebration banquet, there weren't many real fans. Most of them came with impure intentions. They wanted to get close to her. Su Shihan knew what they were thinking. Alright, everyone, enjoy yourselves. The middle-aged man took over the microphone and made the final decision. At this time, the celebration banquet officially started. Su Shihan didn't toast the guests on the stage. This was her rule. She didn't drink, so she skipped this step. However, after the banquet started, there were still a lot of people raising their glasses to toast. Su Shihan couldn't refuse, so she could only use tea instead of wine to deal with the guests. Su Shihan didn't like this kind of situation. Of course, she didn't like it, but it didn't mean that other people didn't like it. Some celebrities who weren't popular would still want to participate in this kind of banquet to improve their relationships. Miss Su, what a coincidence, we meet again. Zhao Qibing sat in his wheelchair and walked towards Su Shihan with Su Jianong. Su Shihan saw Zhao Qibing, and her face changed. She didn't think that Zhao Qibing would participate in this banquet. However, the company prepared the list, so Su Shihan didn't know about it beforehand. Zhao Qibing's appearance made the young masters around Su Shihan move away. Zhao Qibing's name was very famous in Songshan, and these young masters who represented their fathers to attend the banquet all knew Zhao Qibing. Their purpose was very simple. Other than having the illusion of Su Shihan, they also wanted to use this banquet to make more friends and build connections for their family's business. Of course, Zhao Qibing had already expressed his strong possessiveness towards Su Shihan. Naturally, the others wouldn't go against him. Young Master Zhao, hello. Su Shihan smiled and nodded, greeting Zhao Qibing. Although she hated him in her heart, she didn't show it on her face. Miss Su, I wonder if I can treat you to a drink. Let's find a table and sit down, let's have a chat. Qibing went straight to the point and invited Shihan. I'm sorry, young Master Zhao, I don't drink, and there are a lot of guests right now. I'm afraid I can't talk to you alone. Maybe next time, okay? Su Shihan politely rejected Zhao Qibing's suggestion. A lot of guests. Where are their guests? Why don't I see them? Are you guys busy? Don't just stand here, do what you need to do. Zhao Qibing looked at the young masters around him and said with a threatening tone. These people came here to make friends. Who would go against Zhao Qibing because of a woman? Even if this woman was a superstar and was as beautiful as a goddess, it wasn't worth offending them. So, after Zhao Qibing spoke, these people turned around and left. Without a doubt, Zhao Qibing had the highest status in this banquet. Even if Su Shihan wasn't his cup of tea, she couldn't be anyone else's. Zhao Qibing, why do I not like your style? Hitting on girls at your level, you're the best. The man who spoke was the young man that Lin Yi was familiar with. Zhao Qibing heard the mockery and froze. He turned around and saw the person who spoke. His face turned cold. I was wondering who it was. Isn't this the second son of House Sun? What, you're bored of staying in House Sun and can't be the heir, so you came out to relax. So what if I am? The second son is still better than the bastard. The man humphed coldly and said faintly. Chapter 1301. Help Qiantian jumped when he saw that the man beside him was talking back to Zhao Qibing. Qiantian knew that the man was loyal to his friends, but it depended on the situation. The hidden house Zhao was obviously very strong, and it didn't matter if he was an illegitimate son or not. House Wu and House Sun, on the other hand, were just noble houses in the common world. There was a huge difference between them. A small House Sun dares to talk big in front of me. Don't think that I won't touch you just because you're from House Sunday. I may be an illegitimate son, but if I kill you, House Sun won't say a word. They won't stand up for a second son who isn't even an heir. Zhao Qibing laughed and said in a domineering manner. The man's face changed, turning very ugly. Zhao Qibing had hit the nail on the head. In House Sun, he didn't have the final say. With his big brother suppressing him from above, it made him, the second son, very sad. Especially since the man spoke up for justice, he was often ordered around by his big brother. It wasn't that he didn't understand, it was just that he did it willingly. Because of this, his position in House Sun was very ordinary. He was ordered around by his big brother to expose some of the family's problems in the family meetings, and was hated by the family. But the man didn't regret it. He was a man, and there were things he should do and things he shouldn't. This was his personality, and if he saw something unfair, he would do it. Kill me. You. The man looked at Zhao Qibing's legs, a mocking smile on his face. Li Tsiwa, slap him. Zhao Qibing pointed at the man and said arrogantly. Lin Yi heard Zhao Qibing's words and suddenly understood. House Sun, was it the noble house Faubert mentioned? Wasn't that Sun Jingyi's family? This man was Sun Jingyi's brother. Lin Yi suddenly remembered where he had seen this man before. Sun Ikai, this man was Sun Ikai. He remembered that when Lin Yi just moved to the Chu family's villa, he met a young man who drove a Ferrari. At that time, he said his name was Sun Ikai and asked Lin Yi to turn to him when he was in trouble. He would protect Lin Yi. Back then, Lin Yi had a good impression of her. He felt that she was a straightforward person. Although Lin Yi was a little cold in the way he handled things, that was towards enemies, friends, and people who owed him favors. Lin Yi would probably treat them 100 times better. Putting aside the relationship between Sun Ikai and Lin Yi, just the relationship between him and Sun Jingyi was something that Lin Yi couldn't just watch as Sun Ikai was bullied by Zhao Qibing. I'll go take a look. Lin Yi stood up and walked towards Zhao Qibing. I'll go too. Wait for me, Lin Yi honey. Xiao was also someone who liked to join in the fun. How could she not join in the fun? Sun Ikai's face was very ugly. He didn't think that Zhao Qibing would be this arrogant, ordering his men to beat him up in public. As a member of a noble house, Sun Ikai had never been humiliated like this before. In the past, everyone would give face to the Sun family, and the matter could be solved perfectly. But today, it was different. After calming down, Sunny Kai suddenly realized that the person he was facing was the hidden Zhao family, not an ordinary family. But Sunny Kai wasn't someone who was afraid of trouble. Facing Zhao Qibing's threat, he still stood up straight. Qibing was certain that he could defeat Sunny Kai. House Sun may have a special position among the noble houses, but they were a healing house. Their arts were all healing, not martial arts. So Sunny Kai was no different from a normal person. Sihua would be able to defeat him easily. Master Bing, please do me a favor. Bro's son is young and impulsive, don't mind him. Chen Tian was in a difficult position, but he had to stand up for Sunny Kai no matter how hard he tried. Sunny Kai was Sun Jingyi's brother. Chen Tian couldn't just stand by and watch when something happened. Alright, apologize to me now and get lost. I'll let this go. Qibing was more or less afraid of Chen Tian, this idiot. Chen Tian's kung fu was amazing, and Qibing's men were no match for him. So when Chen Tian asked, Qibing went with the flow and gave him face. Wu bro, don't worry about this. I just don't like his way of doing things. Sunny Kai didn't think that Chen Tian would stand up for him at a time like this. He didn't like Chen Tian very much, and he didn't support his sister marrying him, but at this moment, he felt that Chen Tian was quite loyal. Wu Chen Tian, did you see that? This brother-in-law of yours doesn't give you face at all. Don't worry about this. Zhao Qibing humphed coldly. He wanted Chen Tian to stay out of this. Seeing that the situation was about to explode, Su Shihan sighed helplessly. Sunny Kai was kind enough to speak up for her. Su Shihan naturally didn't want anything to happen to him. Young Master Zhao, if that's the case, then I'll drink a cup with you, but I'll use tea instead of wine. Shihan said that to divert Zhao Qibing's attention so that he wouldn't go against Sunny Kai. Zhao Qibing heard Shihan's words and was overjoyed. He thought that Shihan was attracted by his domineering aura. Shihan didn't give him any face before, but now she suddenly changed her attitude. It must be because what he did just now was very manly. Shihan was moved. From the looks of it, Shihan had the tendency to worship violence. Showing his strength often was good for hitting on girls. Okay. Miss Su, please. Zhao Qibing made a gesture and didn't bother with Sunny Kai anymore. Sunny Kai, naturally, knew that Shihan was helping him out. He sighed and shook his head. He was about to leave when he heard a voice of objection. Han, Xiao Xiao's looking for you. Go and accompany her. Lin Yi walked over and stood in front of Zhao Qibing, blocking Shihan. I'll drink with this cripple. Wah. Zhao Qibing heard this voice and was shocked. He was too familiar with this voice. Wasn't this Lin Yi's voice? His legs were crippled twice because of him. Now, Uncle Zhu was still lying in bed, and Yao Wang was covered in needles. Zhao Qibing didn't dare to offend someone like this. Shihan was taken aback when she saw Lin Yi suddenly coming to help. She didn't think that Lin Yi would call Zhao Qibing a cripple. With Zhao Qibing's personality, how would he react? You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.